The platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Great to have your company wherever you're tuning in, all around Australia or indeed the world. Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, the setting for tonight's doubleheader. Yeah, you heard that right. No setting change, only a server change, only a category change throughout the course of the evening as the famed Road America circuit plays host to the final doubleheader of Week 7 action for you. Night 5, Week 7, Term 3. All the odd numbers lining up this week across Facebook and YouTube. We're live, exclusive and free. It's terrific to have your company. Zach Caven alongside Joe Baldwin. Welcome along for the ride. We'll go around the grounds with all the information regarding the footy codes in just a few moments. But first up, let's remind you that this is a mecca of a racetrack, 6.5 kilometres in length, and tonight it will play host to both GT1 Civil War action and a 40-minute race here. And then, of course, we switch it around and go Indycar racing. So we go from tin tops to open wheelers, and we'll have another hour worth of racing from here at the Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin circuit. And, of course, that's on the back of a week that started at the Brickyard, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So we are finishing the week with one famed American venue after starting it at another, which is very nice. And, of course, that Road to Indy series is the 7th round of the campaign. And Ethan Morris has one hand on the title. So some compelling stuff ahead. There's no doubt about that. There are the track and server weather settings for you as we end the qualifying session. I'll get back to that in a moment. 6.5 kilometres around here, ladies and gentlemen. 14 turns. You know it. You love it. One of the famed circuits. Not necessarily one of the overused circuits, but that's a matter of opinion in iRacing land. But it's one of the iconic signature tracks that always produces good racing, irrespective of the category. And speaking of the category, it is the GT1 Civil War. We should have a look at the championship points for you coming into this round, and we can tell you that it is a one-way train for Andrew Dyson at the moment. He holds sway. 522 plays Adam Funslow, 513, and then Thomas Sinner 485, 453 for Adam Lavis. And Brendan Grosh on 421 points. Martin Davis, 410. And you would argue, Joe Baldwin, as I say good evening to you, with only 3 Chevs in the top 10, it's almost the GT1 Aston war at the moment.
Look, mate, good evening, Zach. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, look, the Aston Martin, I know I've got that one in my repertoire, but I certainly don't have the Chev. By all accounts, the people that have got the 2 cars, it's certainly the easier to drive, but you get someone who knows what they're doing in the in that Chevrolet, and it can certainly be competitive. But as can be seen here, once we get to the qualifying, the 7 of the top 8 and 8 of the top 10 are all in the Aston Martin, so it certainly appears to be the weapon of choice at the moment.
Indeed it does. And Richard Brookfield, Greg Heaney, Rodney Gollan, the only 3 Chev riders in the top 10 at this point in time. 162 points separates first and 10th right now. We'll wait for that clock to tick over to the race server settings, or the race portion of the server. And we'll bring that to you live and uninterrupted. Dominic Caminiti on screen there at the moment. A good field lining up tonight. We've got Trav Azzopardi, Thorn Weggett, and Josh Zuno residing in race control right now. Zuno will soon be observing as a spectator only. He's just down there saying g'day to them right now, as he said to us a few moments ago. I'm very excited, Trucker. It's been a while, actually. It's been probably too long since we've had a double header at the same venue on the same night. I mean, we've had circuits play host to multiple races in any given week before, but it's been a while since we've done a double header at the same real estate.
Well, it saves on airfares. And, hey, look, what a venue to have a double header. This is one of the great racetracks of the world. It's got everything. It's got the big long straights, big sweeping curves, and Canada Corner as well, which is probably one of the most exciting braking zones, passing areas off a really, really fast straight that's got a couple of bends in it. It's got a little bit of everything, and I was watching a bit of the qualifying earlier on, and looks like these cars are a bit of a handful around here. Obviously, with the temperature at the moment being 39 degrees, it makes for a bit of a slippy track, so we should be on for a good show tonight.
And you're going to see a lot of Road America over the next few weeks, folks, because we bring the Carrera Cup Porsches here at some point. Their grand finale here Thursday, September 10. And then, of course, in a couple of weeks' time, we've also got the supercars rocking and rolling around here as well. So a lot to look forward to in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. There's the grid. Now,
He's back.
We've got a bit of padding to do, Joe. We've got a bit of padding to do, my friend. Joel and Hanson's tuning in from Port Fairy. The Spa has a TV next.
I actually know Port Fairy. Lovely little place there on the coast. Just about a 25-minute drive from Warrnambool, actually. Beautiful part of the world.
And Miller Motorsport absolutely echoing the sentiments of the commentary position. But, no, my concern, was one in relation to that.
Lap.
And by the way, Road America 32. There's no way we're getting 32 laps in 40 minutes. We'll be lucky to get 21 if we're lucky. But and the reason I say that is I think we'll get 20. 20 with the compulsory splash and dash as well. So yes, we've got a full formation lap behind the safety car. So that chews into a bit of time in two regards, right? It's a long lap behind the safety car around here in formation, a 6.5 kilometre circuit. You see where I'm going here, ladies and gentlemen. But it chews into the time of anyone planning to do the double header tonight, jumping across into the Indycar. So it does chew into their preparation for that. But it does give us a little bit of an opportunity to do some housekeeping here, Joe. How's your wheel? Have you got your wheel sorted?
I have got my wheel sorted. We've also got some results from the last couple of nights, but we can certainly get this wheel out of the way.
Let's kill the anticipation off the top for everybody and spin the wheel first up, because everyone's curious when they line up here on a Friday night as to what they're going to be tackling the mountain in on a Saturday night. Let's find out. Euro NASCAR, ladies and gentlemen. Euro NASCAR, MtnMen tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 32 laps, 200 kilometres, Mount Panorama. Thank you very much for coming. Nicely done, trucker. Yes, everyone waits and, they get impatient and, there's always that level of intrigue. So we've ripped the Band-Aid off that. We're going MtnMen racing tomorrow night. And that will be in the Euro NASCAR, one of the new cars in the iRacing universe. So that's good.
Don't actually own it, so I've got to go and spend some money.
Well, it's a good thing you're here making money tonight, then, Joe.
Absolutely.
The other point of interest is you did mention. Let's do this housekeeping off the top as well. Anything to get us out of here a few minutes earlier tonight, we'll do it now. That's how things look after 7 rounds in Disruptive Labs Formula V. Chaotic night at VIR North last night. On the back end of that, and with the bigger picture in mind, drop rounds come into the equation, and Chapo holds a 26-point advantage over Adam Lavis. Yeah, unfortunately, it's just been a case of what might have been for Mav. Third races have been his Achilles heel, 23rd, 24th, 23rd, 17th. There's a few difficult finishes for Lavis in all of that, and 23rd last night. In fact, a shocker right across the board, 19th day of 23rd, probably his worst round of the season so far. Michael Adams. Now, I said that might be the case, that he won the round, and he did, 143 points, so he'll be absolutely wrapped with that. And he did it without winning a race. Alex Borges run in second on 133, John Merritt third, 127. The points picture, 622 for Michael Adams, 578 for Harry Dambrinker, 562 for John Merritt, 552 for Alex Borges run. So he's only 106 points away from Chapman, and 541 for Hilton Booth, Brendan Nealon, Joel and Hanson, Greg Heaney, Thorne Weggett and Jordan Pianazzola take us back to position number 12. Pianazzola in the naughty corner last night, so that didn't work well for him. But interesting to note, 485. He's 3 points away from Weggett. He's 24 off the top 10. The top 10 covered by 149 points at the moment. Porsche Cup last night. Again, we didn't get to run through the results when we got off air here because Adam Lavis had a very early alarm this morning. Done MVM that. Sam Chapman won the round 93. In fact, it was a tie for victory with Raymond Mallon, also 93. A first and a 7th for Chapo, a 6th and a 1st for Raymond, so bonus points for Chapo getting him across the line there. 91 for Michael Vocci, 3rd for the round with a 2nd and a 5th. And the points race led by Scott Rankin at the moment, 476, 24 clear of Wiley Blair, 6 back to Sam Chapman and 2 back to Benny Patterson and Luke Page, 441, 35 covers the top 5. I might come back to that a little bit later on and run you through the open split, ladies and gentlemen, because as you can see, the cars are up on the main straight. 6 minutes later, we're ready to turn wheels in anger. For the first of two races tonight in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, GT1 Civil War. Let's start on the platforms of the GSRC. Friday Night Motorsport underway on the run down towards the first corner. Great start from Daniel Edmonds. Beautifully holding sway on the inside. Dyson boxed in. Adam Lavis with an off-track alert early on. He's going to get gobbled up there on the inside. Drops down to position number 9. Gets 8 back on the inside. Caleb Patterson through there up into position number 8 now. Gets by Lavis. And they're making their way down towards turn 5 for the first time. Edmonds, Walker, Funslow, Grosh and Dyson the top 5. And a relatively clean start, all things considered, Trucker.
Yeah, look, these guys have done enough laps around here and they're getting the hang of these cars. So, yeah, nice and clean. We need that, especially after what we've seen with the Vs last night. So, best left unsaid, I guess. But hey,
well, we said it anyway.
we did. Sorry, guys. Yeah, look, I think this is going to be a race for the ages. You've got Daiso, but there's Hot Lap Merritt. He's in there, and we know what he's like. Like, give him a few laps, especially in these cars. He's always lightning fast. So I would say by the end of this race, he's going to be right up there on the podium somewhere. But that's not to discount some of the guys that are between him and Daniel Edmonds.
That's exactly right. Edmonds leads them through the kink. Down the back straight for the first time. Whoa! Goes Patterson. He loses out to Lavis. And also Caminiti. Big moment. There's always one that trips up there on the opening lap. Tonight it was Patterson, down a couple of spots. Back down to 11th. Watch this.
His cold tyres got to get the nose in. He was late on the turning, got wide. Oh, Mav nearly followed him out there. Wow, very close.
And lucky, of course, that the grass didn't pick him up and spew him out across the circuit into the concrete waiting for him on the other side of the road. Across the start-finish line we go. One gone. It's a 40-minute race tonight, folks. Thankfully, we haven't been tripped up by that this week. 40-minute race, 20 laps we expect to be the journey here. And Adam Lavis is sitting there in position number 8 right now. Rayner back of the field. Now, that's so what we've just had there, folks, is SDK's just crapped itself. It's showing that Harrison Rayner's leading the race. Nothing could be further from the truth. Rayner, of course, was the last of the running order, slipped up on the opening lap. We only had 17 starters tonight. Greg Heaney in 16th at the moment. Rayner the last of the runners. We know that Daniel Edmonds is leading the way.
Edmonds went deep.
But look at this. Walker down the inside wants a sniff, has a look, and then thinks better of it. Caution the better part of Valor for now. Grosh back up in a third spot. Dyson 4th. Funslow 5th and Merritt 6th. Your totem pole's going to look a little bit out of whack for the moment, folks, but once SDK kicks into gear and realises its own, you know what, up, then it'll sort itself out as well. Got to be careful. Word selection is very important at this time of the night, Joe.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
Copy. Edmonds, Walker, Grosh, Dyson and Funslow through on the run down towards Canada once more. And 205.539 for Edmonds, the standing lap time. We know that the tyres will deteriorate. We know there'll be some issues along the way here. We know there'll be a slash and dash. Whether there'll be a tyre change within that remains to be seen. Edmonds, Walker, Grosh, Dyson and Funslow, the top 5 in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Harrison Rayner is showing as their leader, but we know that's not the case. The leaderboard will sort itself out. Should be this time by the line as everybody completes the second lap. Yes, it is. Beautiful. But he's going to sort itself out and show that everybody's completed 2 laps. As Brendan Grosh runs third, and his teammate holds the fastest lap of the race, 201.464, and Grosh is off the road at 1. Big time, spearing through the dirt, the gravel, the grass, and back onto the racetrack, having dropped a bunch of spots. He returns on in 8th. John Merritt picks up a 5-second penalty for a little bit of racing room and contact with Adam Lavis. A bit of a sensitive point at the moment. 5 seconds. Merritt picks up an invoice early on. And how did that happen more to the point?
The reason why the SDK went mad is none of my controls were working, so I had to restart it. So unfortunately, I can't even get back to it. So it was a lap 1 incident, I think.
All right, copy that. All good. Hopefully, it'll be something we can have a look at on replay if you can get back to it at that point. I'm not sure, but we'll see how we go. Edmonds, Walker, Dyson, Funslow, and Merritt in the early stages here.
A good battle pack back here, just outside the top 10.
And that's Caminiti, of course, one of our new members. He's in good company, actually. Patterson, also a new name around here for PRNZ Sim Racing. Gowans and Pianazzola just behind them. Nathan Michael, oh, Martin Davis is out there doing the mowing. He resumes, but he drops a couple of spots. What's interesting for Mine Trucker, keep an eye on Merritt. We know he's got 5 seconds hanging over his head. All right, he's 2.6 clear of Rodney Golan at the moment. So if anyone's going to clear that 5-second obstacle, well, you'd trust it to be John Merritt.
You'd put your money on him, wouldn't you?
Merritt. 100%.
He's certainly got the blowtorch on Funslow at the moment.
He
got
does.
the eyes on.
Yeah. Is he going to have a look, though? That's the interesting thing for mine. We've heard mixed reviews with regards to some cars and their slipstream effect or lack thereof in the last couple of nights, talking about the BMW. The boys constantly commenting about the lack of slipstream benefit you get from that car. Even though the draft is good, the car just does not want to work and cooperate in that manner. So how are the GT1s going to fare in that space? We had some fun at Road Atlanta with these cars. That's a good draft circuit. This is also a particularly good draft circuit. That's not a particularly good moment for Nathan Michael.
Good recovery, though.
10 points for the pirouette, yeah, absolutely.
And there went the boss.
Who has avoided incident so far. Heaney, one of only 5 drivers in the field to remain exactly where he started. No Pete Edwards on the grid tonight. Pete was in the server for HDS Racing, but not on the grid. Merritt did have a look there, didn't he? Jeez. Put the nose down the inside, had a lunge, and opted out of it. So I think he'll be keen to make hay while the sun shines, his Joe, and try and get by Adam Funslow and try and get out after Dyson and Walker. I don't think they're going to catch Daniel Edmonds tonight. He's going to be the favourite by a considerable margin. But, I mean, it is hard to break the toe here. It's just the nature of Road America as a racetrack. But Merritt will want to minimise the damage as much as possible, remembering, and Doug Gowans is off the road now, remembering that Adam Lavis is 6.5 seconds behind the leader, but he's only 3.6 behind Merritt.
Wow.
Big hit in the wall. Dougie Gowans. Martin Davis.
I tell you what.
Escape.
Where's Martin? Here we go. Let's have a look.
Watch this.
Online. Whoa.
At a certain point, you just have to stick the boot in and commit to it, don't you? So he's avoided the spearing Dougie Gowans, who'll have to come to pit lane. That car is broken.
That's about as much of a brown pants moment as you're going to get around here.
And the trip-up corner, the trip-up corner of the circuit. It's always that part of the racetrack.
Absolutely. It's especially with cars like this, like they carry so much speed by the time you get there. They've just got a lot of horsepower, and you've only going to miss the turn into that corner by a foot and a half, and be a little bit wide of the line and a little bit late on your turn in, and your history, as you just seen there for Doug. You know, it's a very easy mistake to make. Like, we'll jump on board here with Dylan as we're approaching this corner. Yeah, got so left hand, then we go through the carousel, which in itself is actually really, really difficult corner as well. It's a real dance here. You got to dance on the throttle, the brake, and get the line, the exit off here. This really just a little bit too late. Get it in over the curve there. Nice, very well done, Dylan. That was that's about the way to do it. But as you can see, very, very little margin for error, and that little bit of grass on the outside. If you stick the right rear into that, or your left rear, sorry, onto that, we see what exactly happened with Dougie Gowans there a lap earlier. Greg Heaney in a bit of a battle here, chasing down Caleb Peterson. Just a little bit of ground there. But El Presidente, he's chasing down Caleb by Channel 1.4. Actually, Caleb looks like he's pulling away a little bit. Oh, Greg might have a bit of damage. Oh, no. So Caleb's run off, come back on track, and yeah, so he's trying to catch up.
Meanwhile, Edmonds and Walker only separated by about 0.8 of a second, Joe, and 2.1 up the road to Andrew Dyson. John Merritt is only 1.3 away from Dyson. Importantly, Merritt's found away by Funslow. Merritt has got by Funslow. Ben Lavis, Golan, Grosh, Ben Brookfield, Caminetti, and Pianazzola in 11th spot. Jordan, the big mover right now, +6. But Funslow on the back foot, having been passed by John Merritt. Merritt, importantly, now needs to try and build a 5-second buffer.
Here's our big
the way
mover.
The way it's going, he'd only lose out literally to Adam Funslow at this point. He's already got Adam Lavis covered.
Yep.
By 5 seconds.
So what have we got? About 28 and a half minutes to go. I think it was 40 minutes, wasn't it?
It is, yep.
Or 32 laps. Good luck.
Fat, chance.
Yeah. We might actually switch that over like that. Because
I'm actually pretty sure, Joe, just to jump in, you will often give me the 12th man countdown and the queue in. And I enjoy that. It's always very funny. But to extend that, the line that I just had to tidy up there, Fat Bleeping Chance, actually comes from a Billy Birmingham 12-man album. The same one. 561 Sri Lanka need to win. Fat Bleeping Chance.
Yes.
But a small glimmer of hope for... No, I won't keep reciting the 12-man album, but I could. It is one of the great gems in Australian entertainment. There's no doubt about that. But yes...
Pakistani teeth in his jar beside the bed. Look, I'm of the age.
I couldn't not entertain that as soon as I thought of it, Joe.
Oh, absolutely. Look, and me, I'm of the age. I grew up with your Kevin Bloody Wilsons, your Rodney Reed, your Cole Elliott's, and Billy Birmingham was he was that guy that everybody, like whenever the albums dropped, as soon as you heard an album drop, you'd be straight down to buy it, and the whole family would sit around and put it and turn it on, and for a bit of atmosphere, you'd have the cricket going on in the background, right? Because it just he did such a great job of it, and he's a hell of a he's a hell of an entertainer. I tell you what, Dylan Walker, he's been dropped by Daniel Edmonds here, and he's in the clutches of Daiso now.
And Merritt and Funslow. Look at them, the four of them, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And as much as we can sit here and recite it, and I love Billy's work, by his own admission, you just wouldn't get away with it these days. You would get, I think the term,
crucified.
I think the term that he used when talking to the Batuta Advocate about it was hung, drawn, and quartered.
Oh, absolutely.
Daniel Edmonds, Dylan Walker, and Andrew Dyson, the top three here at the moment. You are right. Daniel Evans has won the wick up, hasn't he? He's found an extra gear. He's just taken off. He's checked out. Says, catch me if you can. And that says a lot about where he could be if he was able to compete full-time in this series. He's not able to by his own admission. We spoke about that last week. But if he was able to, he might have just been able to give Daiso a little bit of a run for his money here. This is the moment for Walker on the replay with thanks to the great people at Disruptive Labs through the kink. And into the grass.
So that showed him off track there for Dylan Walker.
Oh, that's the moment there. That's the moment there. That was turn 8. Yeah. So obviously they come round to the carousel.
Breaking the fourth wall. There. Yeah. So he's fixed the rears. Yep. So that's where the gaps come in. Yeah. So a bit of a mistake there.
I did well to catch that because obviously the camera's moving in a different direction. But, yeah, it was noticeable how unsettled and jittery that car became. As you say, he pinched the brake and it was all wobbly and tank slappy. and it wanted to throw him, but he managed to catch it, which was good. But it's at the expense of losing position number 2 to Andrew Dyson, who goes through. Now, I've just noticed boo-boo number 2 of the night, Joe.
Harrison Rayner, no?
No. Can we get clarification? Can you get me a shot that shows off the... there it is. That is the Chev. Dyso's running the Chev. He's listed as a Aston Martin runner in this series on our points table. Now, if this is pick and stick like GT3 is and GT4 is,
half points.
Dyso's just giving himself an invoice for the night.
Now...
Maybe he'll come in here and say, that's part of the challenge, try and win it on half points. But I don't know.
Well, he does have 2 drop rounds. He's burnt one because he was absent. Maybe this is the second one he's happened to burn because he might feel that there's an advantage to running the Chev around here, possibly. Because we know how competitive he is and he'll do anything he can to win, but he's got 3 seconds to catch, 2.9. But it looks like he was half a second slower on the last lap. And how we go on this lap? So 2:01.5 for Edmonds, 2:01.46 for Dyson. So he's going to start catching him maybe. Maybe he doesn't care about the championship points overall and just wants to win the race outright and use a second drop round tonight maybe. We'll ask him in the booth at the end of it. Absolutely we will. What the hell's going on here, we'll say. Very interesting. It is. That completely caught us off guard because Edmonds, Walker, Merritt, Funslow, and also Adam Lavis are running the Astons at the moment. This is Nathan Michael, also in a Chev. Ooh. And straight through. Thank you. Greg Heaney says, I'll have that, thank you. Nathan Michael has gone past. No. Nathan, that was Heaney that went off. And then, and then Nathan's done it as well, and Greg's got him back. Yep. Saw that one coming because I looked at where they are on the leaderboard and I was like, hang on, Heaney's ahead of Michael, so there's something else happening here. There's more to this. Yeah, matching paint jobs doesn't make it easier. No, it doesn't. Matching cars. Matching cars. They're both in the Chev. So on that notion, only 3 Chevs in the top 10 at the moment. Richard Brookfield, Rodney Gollan, the other 2. But our focus is on Andrew Dyson because this is going against the script. But how often has he done it and done it so well? Indycar to come. Jordan Pianazzola off the road, loses out to Dominic Caminetti, moves up into the top 10. Pianazzola, oh no, Jordan's off the road twice and dropping down to 12th. Richard Brookfield takes full advantage of that. And Martin Davis as well. Oh, off goes Rodney Gollan. Rodney Gollan, main straight, exit of turn 14, and Gollan is off the road, and he's also on the lane. Oh, that's a bit of a... So hang on, so this starts with Brandon Grosh. Oh, so Grosh has gone off track. Oh, what? Oh! Massive moment. So who was that in front of him? That was Harrison Rayner. No. Oh, he's had his own incident. Yeah, he has. And in comes Gollan, in comes Heaney. Gowans and Rayner have both been in already. Long pit lane here at Elkhart Lake in Wisconsin at Road America. And they're pitting right a minute before the halfway mark, so up the front here, Dyso is towing Dylan, Merritt and Funslow. Now, we're getting to that magic 50% marker. Do you split your strategy in half? Do you go long? Like, these guys are probably at a disadvantage. There's 2 things happening at the moment. Dyso's losing touch with Edmonds. Edmonds buggering off down the road. He's pulled half a second in the last 2 laps. So Is Daiso holding these guys up and just can't get past? What does he do? Does he pit? Like, the only thing that's going to pull him back in is going to be strategy. So Edmonds he's certainly showed that the Aston's got the pace tonight, and yeah, he's probably just about got it won from here if he doesn't throw it up. Oh, hang on. And as I say that, I know. Yeah, as I say that, he's just dropped the whole second.
He has. Big time.
What did Daniel do? On.
So this is going to be very interesting because it's 1.78 now. So one little further slip up from Edmonds, he'll fall back into the clutches. Rayner's picked up a black flag and he's off track at the moment, just to add insult to injury. Just to go around the grounds for the first time tonight. 128 Collingwood Trail, Brisbane 4226. So Brisbane putting on a clinic at the moment here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. But they've just missed another shot on goal, 4-3-27, so they lead by 19. That was what happened to Harrison Rayner. Just checking in, how's Rayner doing? Yes, Jacobs just put the curse on Harry. Full time in the NRL, Broncos 34, Raiders 30. And never should have tuned back in, says, pretty much. Summed it up, I think. Summed it up perfectly. Meanwhile, the Dolphins and Eels about to start at Suncorp. Down the inside, Pianazzola on the outside, Pianazzola on Caminiti. There we go. Up they go, side by side to turn 6.
Oh, great racing, respectful, leaving room both ways. This is good racing.
It is, but who's willing to budge? Who's willing to give? Neither one of them at the moment. Caminiti will still have the inside for turn 9, Joe.
Jordan's got him.
But Jordan did enough with the overlap to hold sway on the outside. 22 minutes gone, we're on lap 11.
So patient on the throttle through there.
Good news too for all and sundry. Indycar, Formula 1 and NASCAR all on this weekend. So once we wrap up, practice from the Netherlands and sprint qualifying tonight from the Netherlands as well for the latest round of the FIA Formula 1 World Championship back after their summer break.
And if anyone hadn't heard the bombshell news, Verstappen at Red Bull till 2030. Now, look, I'm going to be the first one to put my hand up and say that one came out of left field for me. I was absolutely certain he was going to move on.
You and me both.
I would have put $1,000 on the fact that he was going to move on because just, we all know, arguably the fastest man on the planet at the moment. In just about anything he sits his ass in. The only thing that he'd probably get beaten in would be a sprint car by Kyle Larson, who actually won the Knoxville Nationals weekend gone after running 6th on the other side of the country and then catching a plane which had 17,600 people watching the live flight as he made his way from Richmond, Virginia to Knoxville, Iowa. A 2-hour, 20-minute flight had 17,500 people watching the flight. So them two guys I put up probably the two fastest guys on the planet. There was no way I thought Verstappen was going to stay with Red Bull. I would have put $1,000 on him going to I would have put my money on Mercedes and they would have got rid of Suki. The Pom. What's his name? The Whinger.
Lewis Hamilton.
George
Russell.
Russell, that's him.
Well, they're both, but
Rayner's having it. He's having a rough night.
They don't win when they're winning.
No, they don't. I'll put my hat in the ring and say I'm actually quite disappointed in Russell. When he came into the sport, I had high hopes for him. Caminiti. I had high hopes for him and just crybaby the last 2 years. I'm sorry, I'll put it out there and I'm sick of him crying. Dougie Gowans. He's made his way out.
He has. Exit stage left for Dougie. Job done. that's enough frustration for one night for him, unless, of course, he's signing up for Indycar at the same venue, which you'll see on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club at quarter. Whoa, Pianazzola throwing the dummy, which you'll see on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club at 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. Down the main straight, Jordan Pianazzola. So, Edmonds, Dyson, in fact, look at this, Joe. Everyone down to the 12th place, Nathan Michael, yet to stop. We're in that pit window, well and truly. I would imagine the next 5 to 10 minutes, everybody will come through and the field will be cleansed. Rayno pushing on, persevering, but he's, nearly 2 laps down. Actually, can we get a look at Harrison Rayner? Because I'm getting off-track alerts for him. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Yeah, off-track alerts, and he's parked in the middle of the road. He's all right. He's got time.
He's had a rough no, you got broken steering, Harrison.
Yeah, there he goes. He has conceded defeat because they were coming. They were arriving on scene any tick of the clock where he was on this circuit. Watch this. Wild ride. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Was waiting for that. The first casualty of the night, big time there. That grass, it picked him up and spewed him to the right and smashed into the concrete. And that's his race done. Whooshka.
That reminds me of the Gravitron when I was a kid.
Yeah. Oh boy, it's a shocker.
Oh, big wiggle for Daiso on entry to the corner there.
Daniel Edmonds has extended that lead back out to 3.3 seconds, Joe. I don't think they're catching him at this rate.
No, not the way they go.
2:926, the fastest lap of the race for the young man, with the Hungarian flag next to his name, 284, the race number of the DPR Racing Stable. Stalwart, who is showcasing his talent in these cars at the moment, and I just hope that the calendar aligns for him in a way somewhere down the line, Trucker, where he can actually put in a full season effort. He hasn't been able to do that this season. We know that he won't be able to do that this season for the entirety, but I look forward to the day in which he can come through and tick the box and win a GSRC championship, having not had external circumstances compromise his ability to have a tilt.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one of those things, you just want to be a part of something that you enjoy doing, and getting in, and how competitive the clubs come. And look, wins are damn hard to come by now, and when you're as competitive as these guys are, you want to be involved, right? Oh, she's still walking nearly threw it away there.
Yeah, so, I was going to say, you know what that's all about, how hard it is to get a win on the board here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's 5 years ago. I wouldn't say it was easy. I would say it was a little easier because it's all... No, I won't say it was easy. It was not quite as difficult. There you go. Because now it's bloody hard to come by a win in any series. Like, there's just so many fast guys, so much talent around the club at the moment. And you get guys like Edmonds and Daiso and Walker and basically any of these guys in the top 10 of this race here, all the way back to Mav, can win on any given night. And this is just a Friday night, let alone looking at, what guys like Chapo in the Bs and, and just, so many talented guys. Look at Scotty Rankin, he's been around the club on and off now, probably
6 years.
Last 6 years. And, man, he's improved. He went off and he actually didn't do a lot of racing for a while. He moved cities and he had a bit of stuff going on in the background, but he sort of stepped away from the driving side
of it too. Yeah.
Yeah, but he kept on with the commentary side. But since he's got back into the driver's seat and really put his mind to it, man, that guy is fast. He's up there leading the Porsche Elite Cup at the moment, and we've seen some big names come and go in there, and there's a bunch of very, very fast guys. And he's leading a lot of them. So, Scotty Rankin's another guy. Chapo, Ben Pedersen, not Glenn, sorry.
Just by the way, that Rayno Motorsport comment on the page that you can see there now, ladies and gentlemen, on the right-hand side of your screen, that's Harrison. It's all right, mate. We know.
Big night, mate.
Yeah. It's unfortunately, Road America absolutely destroyed that car of his. Turn 11, the king. How many times has it done it? Let's have a look again. This was Dominic Cavanitti.
Yeah, it moved. there was two of them there.
I think that was Patterson. That's an enormous hit. Caleb Patterson and Dominic Caminetti. My goodness, they're both at the toe. That's taken two more contenders out. Watch this. One went,
Guess
one went
what?
right, went left. Net code?
Yep. Yeah, we'll have another look at that. And I hate to sit here and just squawk netcode all the time, but my God.
Zoom it in, Joe, and explain it to everybody. Just let's get as close an angle as we can of that. We're a little bit far away at the moment, but let's have a look.
Look at the right rear of the... Yeah, so it looks like there's about half maybe a foot and a half, 2 feet between them. And it looks like netcode has made the right rear of the green car and the left rear of the blue car just tag one another. Let me see.
Just as you do that, Andrew Dyson, Dylan Walker, John Merritt, Brendan Grosh all on pit road, and I assume Jordan Pianazzola soon to join them at the end of lap 15 and 5 laps to go. Let's have a look at this.
Yeah.
We probably need a couple of different angles of that just to see if there was any connection between those two cars caused by nothing more than netcode. Let's have a look.
Just trying to get a decent angle. Yeah. So you can see there was there was gap between them, and both cars basically just absolutely jinked and smashed, like just come together in the middle.
Right now, but this goes back to a conversation you and I are having off air, and I don't want to throw anyone under the bus or mention any particular circumstances, but you and I have spoken about a big one for Dylan Walker. Massive moment for Dylan Walker. What the hell? What a save as well. And Adam Funzo also beached as part of that. He loses out as Walker goes back through to 4th. Merritt and Dyson have broken clear. And that's good news for John Merritt. He's put 2.4 seconds between himself and Dylan Walker. And he needs another, 2.7 seconds to clear the 5-second deficit. Oh, no. No. And more to the point, Adam Funslow's just bowled it wide, circumstantial, all on his own. iRacing Netcode is the real winner, but let's ride on board here. I think there's more to this one. Let's have a look. You can see Merritt going to the outside. Walker's come to close the door. I think he was a little bit too late in doing so, Joe.
Yeah, I'm leaving that one to the bosses in the booth.
But this is the point, right? So what we have seen in the past in some of the other leagues, and again, I talk about that step up out of what we are, which is club level racing. We're talking, championship level and other things, right? That next step up the pyramid. We've spoken about this before ad nauseum, right? There comes a point where we have a discussion about netcode. Yep, okay. Some incidents you just purely label that as the cause of the incident because it's pretty clear cut. I know some leagues, however, then go and have a look and analyse it a little bit closer and put a little bit more scrutiny on it. Would the contact have occurred even without the netcode? Is the discussion they have. And in that instance where we saw Caleb Patterson and Dominic Caminetti trip up and come unstuck, there's that potential that because the door was being closed or was about to be closed, then sure, that's possibly something that you could argue. But, I don't know. Race control, I don't envy them tonight.
No, I don't either. So, you got 3 of the big hitters on the race control team in Josh Thorne and Trav. So, 3 opinions. It's, those guys, I'm glad they're the ones getting paid for doing it tonight. I'd much rather sit here and be an armchair expert. And
I would absolutely, I would abstain.
Yeah, I'll just say, look, the netcode thing. Some people are like, oh, you can't blame netcode on everything, but. And I do agree to a point. I absolutely agree. You can't blame netcode on everything, but there's been times this season where incidents that would have been a very, very small bump and run have, who's that in the wall? That was Dominic Caminetti.
Yeah, and he was already a lap down, so that just adds insult to injury for him.
He was. So unlucky for him.
Field is cleansed, Joe, and we're about 4 laps from home. 3 laps from home now. It's Daniel Edmonds starts the end of, ends lap 17, starts lap 18, so we have 3 laps to go.
Yeah, Merritt Walker, that was, Merritt and Walker, that was named netcode. Just popped up at the bottom there.
That netcode, wow.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, boy. There'll be more about that. There'll be more about that, I'm sure.
And this is what I'm sort of, like, I won't sugarcoat it. Last night I was involved in an incident at the start of race 3 in the V's, and I didn't sway anybody's opinion on it. But
no.
From where I sat, like, what was a slight bump that would normally be a bump, and the cars will sort of like continue on, sucked us together. We overlapped like by a quarter of a car together, and it basically locked the brakes on both cars. And caused a huge pile-up that involved championship contenders. I'm not saying that I was completely innocent. I'm not saying that I was fully to blame, but there's a lot of, you got to look at the incident as a whole, and it's, if it was real life, a touch like that, would it have been ended the way it did? I doubt it very much. But by the same token, you've got to give room and this sort of stuff, and I get it, but it's really like playing with one hand tied behind your back when the net code's as bad as what it's been this season with iRacing. And we were chatting to Josh off air, and iRacing this season changed the way they route in the back end. So like they'll go from, obviously we're running on Sydney servers, but it'll go, obviously I'm in Western Australia, so it goes from here to Perth, probably to Brisbane and down, and everything will probably go like from here to there. Dylan gets a big wobble. From here to there back before everything sort of ends up in one spot and then goes back out to the computers involved. So it's the way they've routed there you go. So the predictive models just sucks everything together, and the way they're routing it is obviously very close again. Flirting with that net code.
Now, the problem they've got 2 problems here, Joe. Fun's line to the outside at 3. Let me explain to you the situation at stake here. Merritt has 4.5 seconds on this pair. He only needs another half a second, and he'll retain 3rd irrespective of what happens. He's got the 5-second invoice, but he's got 4.6 up his sleeve. So he's only got to find another 0.3 of a second. Fun's line to the outside of Walker.
Gosh.
It's tight at turn 5. Wowee, hold it together, boys. There's a lap and a half to go. The gloves are off. Fascinating stuff.
Dicey, he's getting the blowtorch as well. Although in saying that, if Merritt passes him, it won't actually matter. So
Dicey can hold station. Yep.
Yeah, what Dicey could do, not that it'll matter in the championship thing, but if he was to back Merritt up into Dylan and Adam, that could work in his favour to a certain degree, but I don't think that he'd do that anyway.
No, it's 4.6. It's 4.6 seconds. So we keep an eye on that. Now it's actually, no, in the last few seconds, it has ballooned out to 5. 4.9. It's hovering on the brink of whether Merritt retains 3rd or Dylan Walker pips him, but he's got to hold on for another lap. To Canada we go. White flag flies at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Daniel Edmonds has been brilliant tonight. DPR about to lead home another 1-2.
Barney's actually at the circuit. Look at that.
What a change of pace. What a lovely change of pace. About time he got back from, I don't know what it was, unexplained leave. AWOL. The interesting thing for mine is, I don't know if it's long service in Barney's particular case, but it's good to have him back regardless. Half a minute to go. Edmonds, Tyson, Merritt, Walker, Funslow, Maverick, Lavis, and then, of course, Grosh in 4th, 7th, Brookfield, Golan and Pianazzola make up the top 10. The final roll of the dice, and here comes Merritt down the inside of Dyson. Had it not been for the 5 seconds hovering over his head, it would have been a case of Merritt taking second outright right now definitively. He's second on track, but he's effective third. And that helps. That helps. The margin now goes out to 5.1 on Dylan Walker.
Are these guys
and
battling?
Adam Funzo
Has basically handed a podium to Merritt.
And it's handed the win very comfortably to Daniel Edmonds as well. He's 2.6 to the good. What a night. What a season. And the DPR boys are putting a hell of a showing together.
Is it
Indycar to follow.
Is it just me, or do these cars absolutely suit this track?
Oh, they absolutely do. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say of the 40-minute races we've had so far this season, this is the pick of them.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Martin Davis and Jordan Pianazzola are battling over the last position in the top 10 there.
Top 10. Yep. Now, if this was any other week, we'd be talking about invert poles and other things. We're not tonight. Daniel Edmonds is going to be victorious again. Not for the first time this season, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, it'll be his third win and his second round win as well. Edmonds and DPR on top once more. It's a happy hunting ground for DPR, and Daniel Edmonds is victorious at Road America. Dyson will be second on corrected order. Merritt in 4th, 3rd, and they got the better of Dylan Walker and Adam Funzo in the end. Well and truly, 5.5 John had up his sleeve to retain 3rd. Lavis in for 6th. Very nicely done. Grosh, Brookfield, Golan, and Pianazzola to finish it off. That was all right. I didn't mind that.
That wasn't a bad race. That was good.
Only the 15 finishes in the end. And only one of them a lap down. That was Dominic Caminiti. But what a race that was.
Was you going to get him?
Yep. I think Brookfield had copped and spluttered, had he? No. That was a lap down. You are right, 100%. Absolutely it was.
Here comes Nathan Michael.
Right, there you have it. Very nicely done. 2 minutes, 0.926, the fastest lap of the race for Daniel Edmonds. And they are smashing it. They're tearing it apart. DPR racing in this series right now. Whoa, Heaney slipping onto the main straight. And up the hill for G. Heaney into 13th for El Presidente. Brisbane lead Collingwood by a goal. 33 plays 27 at Melbourne Cricket Ground. Earlier tonight, the Broncos over the Raiders to the tune of 34 points to 30. And currently underway at Suncorp, the Eels are taking on the Dolphins. The Eels, after 15.5 minutes of play, lead the Dolphins 6-0. Around the grounds for you on a Friday night. Daniel Edmonds victorious from John Medea, and Drew Dyson was third. Now, it's interesting for Mine Trucker. Most positions gained. Pianazzola, +7. Very nicely done. And also very nicely done by Daniel Edmonds, who's about to join us. Go for it, Trucker.
Oh, I was going to say Daniel's joined us in the booth, but yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, copy that. No, I must say, a couple of other observations from that finishing order. The net code between Caminiti and Patterson, I still can't quite believe that. They were lucky they were able to tow, get the fast repair, get back out there and get it sorted and still finish, but they'll be ruining what might have been with an almost certain top 10 finish falling by the wayside there. It's what happens when you lose 2 minutes on pit road. They ended up a lap down. Yep. Understandably and unsurprisingly. So there you have it. There you have it. Daniel Edmonds, good evening to you. Well done. I mean, you're taking every opportunity to make your mark on this series, even though you're not a full-timer. Another faultless performance from you and everybody else thinking, what have we got to do to match this bloke? Even the teammate left behind tonight, but there's other circumstances that we need to try and pick apart with him as well relating to car selection. But from your standpoint, the Aston didn't miss a beat.
No, the Aston's pretty strong everywhere. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a clean drive. I made a lot of mistakes in that one. I was just lucky to not have bigger issues with them. But yeah, it was not my finest drive, but got the win, so happy with that.
Well, I was going to say there were a couple of skirmishes, there were a couple of hairy moments, but that's the nature of the beast, right? This is one of those circuits where it's total commitment all up every lap, and occasionally you find yourself on the limit, flirting with the limits of adhesion and potential downfall.
Yeah, you have to be on it here. There's grass to touch on entries, and that'll spin you. And then if you cut the track too much, you'll get a lot of rotation, but too much can spin you as well. So yeah, you have to be very careful here. But had a couple of almosts, but yeah, managed to bring it home in the end. So it was good despite the lack of concentration a few times.
Well, that's exactly right. In saying that, I guess it could have been a whole lot worse had you not been able to put a buffer between yourself and the rest of the field. That could have been the difference between you and victory tonight. I guess you're lucky in a sense that you were able to give yourself that leverage to work with.
Yeah, it was pretty important to break the toe. Like that was the critical part. As soon as I managed to do that and get the gap, yeah, I was fine then. I think my pace was pretty strong, so I felt comfortable that I was going to be able to hold the gap at least, if not extend. Really didn't fuel save as much as I should have, but it's fine. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But yeah, breaking the toe was everything for this race for me.
Indeed, it's just a slipstream circuit, isn't it? What'd you make of? I mean, obviously, the field size not too bad. We started with 17. The numbers are diminishing a little bit on a Friday night at the moment, but we expected some drop-off somewhere as the season went on. We've been on a pretty good run. But for your teammate there, he's ended up second on corrected order. Merritt gets a 5-second invoice for an incident much earlier in the piece. Who else was out there representing you guys? Brendan Grosh unable to do much with that Aston, and he brought it home in 7th. So overall, again, all the DPR boys towards the pointy end of the field in the top half of the field, but Brendan would be hoping to find something to move him forward over the next couple of weeks.
I owe him big because I said we're going to time the start, and then I just went, so forgot to say. So yeah, I'm in the bin with that one, but yeah, that was a bit silly by me, but never mind.
Full warm-up lap. It's been a while since we've done that. Very long track for a full warm-up lap.
I wasn't miserable. I was so bored. Just driving around on the clutch. It was awful.
Well, there's certain aspects to that we should explore, because when you say you're on the clutch, you guys would have started with a full fuel tank, but that would have also required some fuel saving, because you've got, instead of maybe warming up from the exit of turn 12 around 13, 14 and up the hill, you had to do a full lap in fuel save mode, mate, just to be able to stretch that tank out to, well, in your case, lap 14, and the rest of the guys around you, lap 15.
Yeah, I mean, probably should have saved a bit more since I didn't make it that lap. But yeah, it's just what you have to do in a race like this, where it's so important to try and minimise your fuel, especially with it only being 5 litre increments instead of 1 litre increments. It's yeah, pretty critical to try and get that number as low as possible. So yeah, drive around on the clutch and ghost through the safety car, all the fun stuff that you can do. So yeah, we did that and tried to save fuel.
Were you able to, because every time we talk about GT1, we seem to be talking about tyre wear at some point. Were you able to take any fresh rubber at the pit stop or not?
It's separate on these cars, so you don't want to be taking tyre.
No, yeah. So how was the tyre wear over 40 minutes?
To be honest here, it was pretty good. Either my early laps were really bad, but yeah, I managed to match fastest laps towards the end of the race. So either I was really slow at the start, or yeah, the tyre wear wasn't as bad as expected.
All right, very nicely done. Trucker, have we got anything to ask our now 3-time race winner in this series?
When you get out front like that, how do you keep yourself motivated? Do you, like, I know, not that I do it very often, but every now and then if you get out front in a race and you're sort of driving around on your own, do you use... Like, what do you use to keep yourself motivated? Do you look at the relative, or do you push for lap time or fuel numbers, or what do you do to try and keep your concentration up when you've got nobody to battle with as such, like in close quarters?
That's a good question. It depends sort of on the race. So this one, I sort of wasn't super committed to the fuel save, so I just wanted to pull as big of a gap as possible. So my lap time saying what my lap time is versus everyone else near me. So it's an overlay that I've got. So make sure that gets higher and higher. But yeah, probably not the best one to ask me because I made like 4 mistakes out front today. So yeah, maybe I need to work on my concentration a little bit and try to find something else to help me keep out front and not try to throw it away.
Yeah, because we were looking at one stage. I think you were at like 3.1 seconds, and I said something to Zach. Turned around. Next time I looked, it was like 1.8, but I missed what had happened, and it never actually brought up like an incident report. Did you? Would have been about the 24-minute mark. Was there did you get wobbly under? I think it was coming onto the main straight. Did you have a wobble under brake or get a bit of a slide or something? Do you recall? I reckon you would have dropped about 1.5 seconds to the chasing pack there in one go.
I tell you, I can remember every single mistake I made in that race, and that one was blocking the fronts into Canada and just.
I was at Canada, right?
On the exit, so yeah, it was almost worse, but just managed to have a couple of wheels bounce through the gravel a little bit, so it was only a little bit of time loss in the end. Yeah,
cool. Well, great drive, Daniel. Like it's yeah, the Daiso's in the booth here with us at the moment. We got a couple of questions for him regarding his choice of car tonight. So it's going to be interesting to hear his story on that one. But obviously, you're pretty happy with the Aston over the Chev, or do you actually even own the Chev?
I don't own the Chev. I'm not really interested to try and drive the slow car to hide that I'm not the number one GT1 driver anymore, so that's fine by me.
I love it. Hey, can I ask you as well, Daniel, before we do hear from your teammate with the Please Explain, Snetton 300, are we going to see you next week? I'm just trying to remember the timeline of events with regards to you and not being in the cockpit, instead being on the other side of the world.
Yeah, I'll be there. I've thought it was going to be this week. There was a little whoopsie daisies with the track selection that I saw, so I did a bit of practice for Snetterton, and then they changed it back to Red America. So I'm set. I'm ready to go.
All right. And is it a circuit that you like?
I love the happy tree that at turn 2. Make sure you get some shots of that. The happy tree is the best thing about that track, I reckon.
Okay. What about the bitumen?
It goes around. Ends up where you start, so
yeah, that's fair.
It's a track. It's difficult. It's very difficult. That's there's a lot of turning and braking, which in these cars with no ABS is gonna be quite tricky. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that works out for everyone.
He's offering very little, but it's going to be interesting to see what he brings to the table and whether the extra prep time for this week in his mindset, thinking that it was Snetterton, not Road America, pays off when we actually get to Snetterton for the final sprint round of the season next week. From there, it's 40 minutes at the Daytona International Road Course. I'm not here for that one. We're back for the 60-minute enduro from the Silverstone Circuit in England on Friday, September 11, and that is a very special night for the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. That is our grand finale night for term number 3. Very nicely done. Stay there with me, Daniel. I might get some thank yous from you in a moment, unless the team spokesperson will do it for you. Although he might actually pass the baton back over. Daiso, we're a little bit concerned, considering that we see an Aston Martin badge next to your name on the points table, and yet when we look at the timing screen, we see the Chev there tonight. So I believe that comes with a half points invoice, which brings undone the pretty good run that was to second in the end. Third on track, second on corrected order, with Merritt being hit with a 5-second invoice earlier on tonight. Was that a misstep on your part, or was it intentional to go and drive the Chev just to throw a spanner in the mix?
No, I bought it because I just had to know, man. I had to know what was going on with this thing because, for example, like Darren Lobb, he's pretty good, man. He doesn't go out and just spin out on lap 5 of a 25 lap race. So I was like, I have to know, like, what's this car like to drive? And I can confirm for anyone out there who's been driving the Corvette, you're basically you're doing a pretty good job to have a consistent race, because it's so hard to drive consistently. It's probably like within 1% of the Aston. I mean, I'm no Joshua K. Rogers, right? But he can probably drive both these cars to within a tenth of each other. But I'm not that guy. So I'm like, this car's a little bit more difficult and a little bit more inconsistent to drive. So it was hard work, man. I had to like, you know, Dan's out there tonight just like wobbling around. Oh, whoops, I had a little whoops again, and I'm like sweating. It's just to go.
You've had 40 minutes worth.
Track.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard work, man. But yeah, props to everyone who can buy it. So we're sticking with it with the Corvette.
Oh, okay. Righto. Ooh, interesting. The interesting thing is in all of this that from a championship standpoint, it'll be interesting to see what happens from this point forward. But I would argue now that you take a half points invoice tonight that you've burnt both your drop rounds with 3 to go.
Man, regardless of all that, there's no way I'm ever racing this car over again.
Yeah. So back in the Aston next week, so that'll be good. So we're reading between the lines, and we're thinking second is more than a pass mark for you. There was no way in hell that you were going to be able to go punch for punch with your teammate.
So he said he just needed to break the toe. The key to my race was staying in it, and I just couldn't do it. And then all the guys decided to use me to be the leader of the train, but. Yeah, I really needed the toe to be in the race, but we couldn't hang on to him. So.
All right, very, very nicely done. From that standpoint, however, you've earned your stripes tonight. There's no doubt about that. Were you aware of race control? Yes. Were you aware of your opponent John Merritt's 5-second invoice? Did they mention that on the comms in race, and therefore did that make things easier when he went past you with 11.5 to go, knowing full well that he wasn't going to pull 5 seconds, and therefore you were going to get second back?
Nah, so when I came out the pits, I knew I had 5 laps, or roughly that, 4 or 5 laps, to go as fast as I could and to stay in front of both those guys who were behind me. What I think happened was I had a little netcode thing down the straight, so I didn't know for sure whether he was going to get a penalty or not, and I actually didn't see it. But I thought once we got to the last lap and he was on me, I'm like, man, I just had my 5 laps chance and I couldn't do it. So I'm not going to like battle this one to the death, because he's probably going to end up passing me anyway. So I kind of had like a faint little, hey, I don't want you to pass here into turn 1, and maybe a little bit again into turn 2, but he always going to get me down the next straight. So not much I could do about it, really.
All right, that's fair. We've got about 10 minutes before the Indy cars will be lining up on the grid at this same venue, ladies and gentlemen. So let me bounce across from Daiso to John Merritt, who's just slid into the booth to say hello to us, and I'll come straight back to you, Daiso. John, have you had a look at the tape? Have you had a chat to race control? What was your take on the 5 seconds with Adam Lavis?
Oh, I just chatted. I said, it was a slight bit of rubbing, but clearly not deliberate. Slight pinch of the front brakes. Threw a different setup, hoping a prayer in for the race, and probably didn't have the brake bias where I needed it at turn 1. And sort of said I left racing room, but anyway, it is what it is. But I am campaigning. Daiso needs to stay in the Corvette, I think.
No, this is too hard.
No, absolutely not. And you've heard, if you were here with us at the start of the season, you know that when the man speaks with regards to cars that he doesn't like, he speaks with authority and he means it. So when he says he's not driving that thing again, you can guarantee that he'll be back in the Aston next week. In saying that, John, you must have been relieved, whether you were going to get that penalty or you were going to get it overturned, that you were able to pull 5 seconds on Dylan Walker and Adam Funslow, and it helped that they also had their respective battle. There was a little bit of a netcode incident as well between you and Dylan at one point. There was a lot going on out there in a very short period of time.
Oh, penalty or no penalty, it was just some good racing. Obviously, everyone was trying to get to the penultimate lap with a bit of fuel saving, and it felt like my set was pretty good near the end of the race. Once we switched back on after that stop, so just a shame with Dylan. There was an overlap sort of netcode scenario.
Joe and I were commenting on that of late, and we're starting to get sick of it. How frustrating is it for you guys knowing that we've kind of gone 13 steps forward with all the evolution and the technological advancements that iRacing have made over the course of the last 6.5 years. But recently, with regards to netcode, it feels like we've gone back 6 years. We're back to where we started.
Yeah, it must be in the recent update, because as you know, I'd been away, but every single race, RC's mentioning it, and probably I saw it tonight, definitely with that couple of things in the GT1. So, that overlap on the straight it shouldn't have been anything. So, unfortunate.
Indeed, it was. Just a quick comment from you, Daiso. How are you? Coming to grips with how are you working around the netcode issues that are prevalent at the moment within the server?
Yeah, I mean, you've just got to give everyone as much room as you can. Like, I probably wasn't too aware of it through the first few races. Like, we had some battles with Darren Lobb a couple of times, and I never copped anything. But then Darren Lobb started netcoding everyone from here to Kingdom Come. So we quickly knew something was going wrong. So we all decided, well, we were also told off and told that we have to give everyone lots of room. So that's what we've been doing. But I actually should mention, I forgot at the start of the race when Dan said he was going to count everyone down, he was probably just about to start. Well, he was going to count down Grotchi anyway because I was way back. But he was about to start counting, I reckon, and I rudely interrupted because I needed to key up. I thought we were going to crash into the pit wall because we were all so far to the right-hand side of the road.
Yeah, we were, yeah.
And I think Dylan was in front of me, like, in the dirt or something. I'm like, and I could feel myself getting netcoded by Adam next to me. And I was like, oh, man, I need to key up. So I think I interrupted and ruined that plan. But that's how bad it is. Like, we're just rolling along really low speed, and I can feel myself getting pushed around and, all weird stuff happening.
Indeed. John, do I dare ask about race 3 in the V's last night? I mean, we were talking to Joe about it earlier. It was interesting to get Race Control's take on that off-air earlier in the day. That's certainly not the way you want championships to be won, lost, decided, whatever the case may be. But there were a couple of people a little bit aggrieved about that one.
Yeah, unfortunate. I think I won't use the words on air, but what I said, happens. But look, I was an outside chance, I think, missing the 3 rounds anyway, Zach. So I was just looking forward to a good finish of race 3. Probably on for taking out the night, but it is what it is.
Still third for the round, and 89 points the advantage that Chapo has on you right now. It'll be interesting to see what comes of the final 3 rounds. Right, are you 3? We've got 6 minutes before the Indycars are lining up here, so quickly wrap this up for me. Daiso, thoughts on Snetterton, please?
Oh, well, wrong button. Snetterton Fun Track has some good races there, so I really like the tree as well. Every track got their characteristic that you got to keep an eye out for. It is the tree at Snetterton, righto. Noted. Two votes to the tree. Looking forward to that. John, thoughts on Snetterton? Will we see you at Snetterton?
Yeah, hopefully make it depending on time, Zach. I think agree on the tree. These will be a handful, and 3 votes for the Corvette for Daiso.
Very nicely done. Righto, Daniel and Daiso, if you want to team up here and thank who you want to thank on the DPR side of things, now's your time to do so.
Would you like me to do that one, Daiso?
Yeah, go on.
I need to find my list.
I was going to say thanks to all you guys for doing the broadcast and everything and all the rest of it, and let us come in here and talk crap. Appreciate that.
You are welcome anytime, as I say. I'm waiting for you to, bring your full routine together to the table, ready for the Brisbane Comedy Festival next year. Very nicely done. Daniel, have you found... I can't believe you've been sitting there listening to all us blokes rattle on, chatter on about what's been going on, and you're still digging up the list.
I was disassociating hard. So we would like to thank, myself and Mr. Dyson, would like to thank staff, High Performance Media, Lamprey Transport, DPR, Docs.gg, and Daiso would also like to thank Team Conti, and he's having a lot of fun in the oval side of setups at the moment, so that's very enjoyable for him.
And we're actually, you mentioned high performance. Good luck to Jonesy. He's going to get his steps up this weekend out at the Paperclip. He's going to be a busy boy. I did see him checked in there earlier. Very nicely done. We look forward to seeing you blokes when we see you on the grid, hopefully next week for Snetterton. And in your case, Daiso, some Bimmer action on Wednesday night before that, no doubt. Are you there, Daiso? No,
Oh, man,
okay.
I keep pressing the wrong button, but yeah, should be good. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, very good week 8. Looking forward to that immensely. Thank you, boys. We'll have an update on the championship points for those guys a little bit later on. John Merritt, always a pleasure, mate. Another podium finish, another night, not without drama, but always good to go racing at Road America.
Yeah, never a bad race at Road America.
What's the next couple of days look like for you, please? When are we next seeing you in the rig?
See if we can make MtnMen tomorrow, and then see if we can keep Daiso honest in the M2s.
In a bit of breaking news, because it happened on your warm-up lap, Euro NASCAR tomorrow night.
What's that? NASCAR?
Euro NASCAR. Yeah, the new one.
Oh,
The Euro
yeah.
NASCAR tomorrow night. Yeah.
Might have to buy it.
Joe said the same thing. Go well, mate. Thank you for that. Who would you like to thank?
Just the Pulse a Chukotai split Lexus. I need a new livery there, and you guys, obviously the race control and the club for the broadcast, and yourself.
Appreciate it, John. Have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look at this.
Oh,
Have a look at this. It's raining cats and dogs. So we get out of the GT1 server, we jump into the Indycar server. We've got rain lashing down at Elkhart Lake in Wisconsin now as the Indycars hit Road America Trucker. Thanks, John. Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate that, boys. Have a good weekend.
thanks, Zach. Cheers, guys.
Right.
Trucker,
we can only hope that this rain sticks around for the race, unlike last week where we went from qualifying to race and we went from completely saturated circuit to completely dry circuit.
Oh, absolutely. I hope it stays wet. I think it's one of the things that we just don't do enough of is wet weather racing. I pray to the rain gods that it sticks around for the race.
Absolutely, righto. Right, a little bit more housekeeping while this warm-up plays out because these guys have got another couple of minutes. We are here with thanks to the great people at Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com and Flash Graphics. A massive thanks to all of them for their ongoing support of the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Benny Pedersen said to me earlier in the day that he was a 50-50 chance of lining up tonight. I reckon he took one look at the rain and said, no, that'll do. I'll sit on the lounge and watch this one with a wine in hand. Then we should also mention our merch store, merch.tgsrci.com, gsrcmerch.myshopify.com. Either address you, unlike my email address, where if you don't spell it correctly, it doesn't come through. And I've had that in a couple of instances the last couple of weeks. People are like, we sent you an email. Mum even today said, I've sent you a text message, I sent you a picture. Went in and saw the picture in her message thread, and she was like, oh, there's a message below that said it couldn't send. So yeah, I better send that again. Better reload, better retry. But yes, whether you go to website number 1 or website number 2, merch.tgsrci.com or gsrcmerch.myshopify.com, doesn't matter. It takes you to the same place, ladies and gentlemen. And that store is live and ready and open for your business, including the shirts, the stubby holders, the bottle openers, the hats, the little bucket hats, the singlets, the hoodies, the shirts, everything GSRC paraphernalia related is there in that store, available for purchase. Right. We didn't get a chance to finish off the Porsche points there earlier, Joe, so we may as well do that now whilst we've got a minute to do so. I just wanted to cover off, I mentioned there earlier with the elite split, down to Luke Page, it's 35 points covers the top 5. And then for the top 10, it's 95 points covering the top 10 at the moment. So Michael Vocci on 426, Jeff Adams 405, Lachlan Cable 401, Corey Lazarus, we know he's playing no further part 391, and 381 for Adam Lavis has got his way into the top 10 now. Open split, top 10 covered by 134 points, 517 to 383. Math's not my strong point, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm pretty sure that's 134. First to second is 11. Wade Sheedy to Jordan Pianazola. 9 back then to Paul Wilson. Top 3 covered by 20. Stephen Gallacher on 483, 454 for Liam Amos. 63 covers the top 5. Then Luke Wegener, Jacob McIntyre, Curtin Ommenson, Edward Rollo and Joel and Hanson make up the top 10. Warm-up done. Race server upon us. We're ready to go. The latest round of the Disruptive Labs Road to Indy series on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Round number 7. From here, of course, we will take the series to the Milwaukee Mile to Laguna Seca, and then to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. All roads lead to Indy Friday, September 11. Oh, I shudder because it's the 25th anniversary of the Twin Towers. That's a commemorative day for the United States, and we're going to be ripping and tearing around and making a mess of the Brickyard. 500 kilometres, 125 laps. You won't want to miss that. 8:45 Eastern on Friday, September 11. There'll be footy finals going on as well. That's the day of the NFL match at the MCG. There's a lot going on September 11, and we're just a small part of that, but we hope you'll join us for what promises to be 125 laps of exhilarating brilliance. The championship points coming into this round: Ethan Morris, 6:41 plays daylight, and then Tom Donoghue, 5:33, 4:79 for Adam Lavis, 4:50 for Martin Davis, Luke Page, 4:47, Stephen Bull, 4:44, 4:17 for Joe De La Rosa, 4:10 for Greg Heaney, 3:40 for Angus Milne, and 2:94 for Jordan Pianazzola. Top 10. Jesus, have a look at that. Ooh. What are we talking there? 347 points. 347 points covers the top 10 right now. The grid looks like this, because they're moving off behind the safety car right now. So we'll hop, skip, and jump very lively. Lightly wet circuit, perfect for this sort of racing. I'll come back to that in a moment. We'll leave that right-hand column up, please, Trucker. Stephen Bull, Tyson Broad, Tom Donoghue, Angus Milne, Ethan Morris jumping from as low as he started all season. Well, there's the great equaliser. Luke Page from 6, Adam Lavis, Nathan Michael from row 4, Dylan Walker, Martin Davis from 5, from 6 it's Caleb Patterson, Jordan Pianazzola, from 7 it's Leslie Rees and Jeff Adams, from 8 Greg Heaney, and Joe De La Rosa, Greg Heaney, from 9 Andrew Milne, Andrew Neal, and Matt Schmidtke, from 10 Dave Oliver, and also Travis Azzopardi. But we know Travis Azzopardi's in race control. We know Neal and Oliver are starting on pit road. We start with 17 on the circuit. Promises to be a great night. 2 minutes past 4, 2 local server time. 11 kilometre an hour winds. They are in a westerly direction. 23 degrees the ambient, 20 on track. Lightly wet, 60% humidity, or somewhere around there. And I can't actually read the bottom of that graph at the moment to tell you how wet the circuit is because of the comment we've got there from Jamie Fleming in the meantime. Let's go to work for what was scheduled to be 42 laps, but it'll depend very much upon what the weather does and what it has in mind as to whether or not that will be the case. It says 0% rain at the moment, so it's a drying circuit, lightly wet, and the trouble will be here, Joe, the question will be if it dries enough to warrant us going across to dry tyres, and at what point that might be the case. But it looks fairly damp out there at the moment.
Lightly wet? That doesn't look very much lightly wet to me. That's, there's a fair bit of spray, but if it doesn't rain again, I give it about 4 laps, 5 laps. With this many cars, we should start seeing a drying line. Now, you'll see there white sidewalls on the tyres. That's wets, obviously. And I can't see anybody who's not on wets at the moment, to be honest. So
no,
I think you'd be mad to be on anything other than wets. But yeah, look, this is great. I'm so glad it's wet. It's raining. We're gonna have a bit of fun tonight.
Lavis under assault from Dylan Walker as they hit the kick for the first time. Side by side they go. Hard to pick him up with the amount of spray on the circuit right now. Lavis and Michael side by side to Canada. Walker wants a piece of that, thanks very much. Stephen Bull leads. 1.3 to Tyson Broad. Milne is third. That's where I got Milne from. And I used to go to a school with a bloke named Andrew Milne. I was wondering why I got Milne out of Neil. I've now joined the dots together. Angus Milne's out there, and then there was an Andrew back in the day. Tom Donoghue, Ethan Morris, Nathan Michael, and Adam Lavis. Neil in trouble.
Oh, he's back here on his own. And throttle up, bang.
Well, he and Dave Oliver opted to start from pit lane. Now, what's interesting in all of this, Joe, 201.947, 2 of 32 tonight, so there's no expectation that we're going to go any more than 32 laps. So that's an interesting one. I need to actually have a look at that with a view to the server here at the Milwaukee Mile next week, 135 laps, 65 minutes. This week, 32 laps, 65 minutes. And there's the onboard view. And have a look at the spray. Have a look at the water. Have a look at the wheel control. We're riding on board with Caleb Patterson. I'm not sure. Last week, Last week was 42 laps, and the week before was 55. So we're dropping down in laps, but the amount of kilometres we'll cover will be about the same. It's 6.5 kilometres around here, so do that 32 times, and you're going close to 200 kilometres tonight, ladies and gentlemen, maybe a little bit over. That's if we get their full race distance. At the moment, the lap times are 2 minutes and 1 second. How many pit stops we have, plus the safety car, and how long it takes for this circuit to dry might mean that we go time certain. Nathan Michael in the gravel at the carousel. And then trying to get back onto the circuit proper, but getting gobbled up in the process. And I reckon he might have got a little bit of help there from Matt Schmidtke. Golly. Hairy moment. Watch the tap that Schmidtke gave him. Watch this. So this was the moment he's on the way through the carousel, and it just snaps on him. Smears him out to the left. Did well to keep it off the wall. Rejoins. Wait for the tap. Wait for the tap. There was no net code in this.
Oh, just actually, I think he might have missed him.
You reckon? Can we go on board with Schmidtke just to have a look at that?
We certainly can.
I'm interested because it looked as though there might have been a little bit of a bump and rub, but it might have been completely coincidental that happened. Oh, it wasn't even Schmidtke. My apologies.
No, it wasn't Schmidtke.
It must have been. Who's ahead of Schmidtke at the moment? Jordan Pianazzola or Martin Davis? Yeah, we need to have a look. It's that other orange car. So again, just the spray and everything else, the other orange car. It's not
Jeff
the
Adams.
Rosa. Let's have a look.
It's Jeff Adams. Yep.
Yep. So let's have a look, see here, and let's wait and see. So there's the car coming back onto the circuit. There's Nathan Michael. Adams to the inside. Oh, I think you're right, Joe. I think you're
missed
right.
him.
B's proverbial in that, but maybe, just maybe, the complications and the sheer sequence of events.
It was very close, but
either the car of Nathan Michael he's made a secondary mistake on his own because he's not got any grip because he's just come back onto the circuit, or he's seen Jeff coming and spooked himself. What do you reckon?
I can do this. And where are we? This one. This magic of learning what I'm doing. Oh, jeepers, that was close.
Mate, there's nothing in that.
No.
But it'll go down as a racing incident. Dave Oliver off the road again. Andrew Neal's had a couple of moments so far. He'll be the first one to go a lap down here. And Nathan Michael back in 15th place. Ethan Morris struggling a little bit at the moment. Time's tumbling. 157.804 now for Dylan Walker. And the track's starting to dry because the sun's starting to poke through. 2:02 local time. I was going to say, I missed a wonderful opportunity there earlier, Joe, and I wish I hadn't have. I'm going to go back and make up for it now. You mentioned earlier all the servers coming out of Sydney as far as our iRacing content is concerned, and GSRC content specifically. I'm not surprised. I mean, you've got to go with a progressive and civilised part of the country, don't you? Seriously. Of course they're going to be centred around Sydney or Melbourne. Yeah,
that's part of Sydney you were going to talk about. Phew, I didn't know where the Sydney conversation was going to go there for a second. Yeah, look, it's one of those things. Like, iRacing's got their Australian servers in Sydney, so it's. I mean, I'm probably lucky here now. I've got good gigabyte internet finally. NBN, progressive and civilised. Oh, who was that off the road?
Oh, that was
Davis.
Yep, Davis with the moment. Schmidtke also had a little bit of a bobble. Right, they're fighting this tooth and nail right now. Yeah,
this is hard work, and it's Martin's got loose again. I'm loving this. The changeable conditions. Oh, here we go, down to Canada corner. Big braking zone for Schmidtke. So the problem as the track dries,
yeah,
it's actually going to make overtaking harder because the dry line will be 3-4 seconds a lap faster than stepping out onto the wet part of the circuit, right? So there'll probably be a bit of a lull in the middle of the race where half the track's wet, half the track's dry, and they're going to have to just go into the tram lines. But as the track dries later in the race, it's going to make for some great driving because those guys that probably aren't that good in the wet are going to be better in the dry, and guys that are really good in the wet. Yeah, so it's a bit of yin yang. So it's going to be the second half of this race is going to be really. Schmitty's out in the dirt.
There it is. Turn 3. Oh, boy.
He just grabbed the brake and just touched the grass on entry. So let's have a look from. I reckon he's just touched the edge of the track because there's a bit of a. Oh, no, he's braked late.
Yeah.
And rather than impaling himself up the rear of somebody else, he's taken to the grass.
Running out of real estate in the process.
Yeah, very quickly.
Yeah, 157.044. Stephen Bull under pressure from Dyson Broad. Now, one other aspect of this that we need to tackle, Joe. Right, so there's a couple of things here. If that crossover patch falls at an awkward moment, it could royal screw a couple of people over, strategically speaking. Could be the difference between 2 and 3 stops or 3 and 4 stops, whichever strategy we're leaning towards tonight. But the second point in that, as we say, it's a 32 lapper that we're lining up for here. We've got a competition caution thrown into the mix. Will that be the crossover point? Who knows? And then the third one is because of the fact that we have a wet weather race tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have the requirement to use both the primary and alternate compound of tyres. So we won't have that necessity, that stipulation in the regulations. It's a bit like Formula One. If you have a wet weather race that becomes a dry weather race, you can, the world's your oyster. You've got the leverage there to select whichever compounds suit you best and work best for your strategy. So you've got a little bit more leverage there than what you would normally do. No requirement to use both the dry compound weather tyres in this race.
As the track dries out, though, you're going to end up on a different compound anyway, because obviously you'll put a dry weather tyre on, so it sort of nullifies it if the track dries. But if the track doesn't dry, and we say, I'd like to see another sprinkle of rain. I don't want to see a downpour. Just a sprinkle will be plenty. And
is there a way that you can have a look at the radar to verify whether that might be in the forecast or not? Martin Davis off the road as well.
Oh, Martin. Oh, yes, too. No, I don't think so.
No.
Or there probably is. I just haven't been shown how to do it.
Copy. All right. We'll watch this space with interest then. Ethan Morris fighting for it tonight, isn't he? 6 seconds off the pace right now. That's one driver that would love this to be a dry track on the other side of the competition caution. When we reset and neutralise the race, that's one guy that would clearly, based on what we've seen so far, be far more comfortable in the dry here.
Angus Milne? Who's that in front of? Oh, that's Broad.
Indeed. Now, I just realised I've just realised, Trucker, there's a second cricket test starting tomorrow morning, and I haven't given everybody on social media the broadcast times and details just yet. So guess who's staying up late tonight as well? Continue on.
Again?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You
Make a habit of that.
Do love your oh geez, I nearly had a faux pas then. Your stick and ball.
Yes, yeah.
I nearly bugged that one up.
I know exactly where you're going. No, I thought you were going to say I do like my late nights, and that's true too. But no, I do like my my cricket sport. And looking forward to watching the second test tomorrow. I think it's the only acceptable reason to be setting an alarm pre 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning where you haven't got any other obligations to attend to in the middle of the winter. back end of the winter here in Queensland, of course. I'm already back in shorts. So that period of the season in which I was wearing jeans has come and gone. Bull, Broad, Morris, Milne, Walker, all racing towards the first round of pit stops at Road America. So we'll get an indication in a moment, Trucker, as to where we go with this, because if they can get 8 laps to the first stint, that's 3 stops. That's easy. 8, 16, 24, home, right? If they can go a little bit further than that, if they can make it a 10 or 11 lap stint, then that's a 2-stop race. But it all hinges on where the safety car falls and where this wet weather, where these wet weather conditions are going to deteriorate, and we're going to go to from lightly wet to very lightly wet to mostly dry on the iRacing weather tracker. And at the moment, there's still plenty of spray to work with.
There's a lot of it, and
Stephen Bull, lap 7, in. Dylan Walker, lap 7, in. Here we go. This is surely not the crossover point. They're clearly planning a 3-stop race. Page and Maverick Glavis as well. So too Caleb Patterson. They're all in at the end of lap 7. Now that I wasn't anticipating, Joe. That's a surprise for me.
Yeah, me too. I was expecting probably lap 10. No, lap 10, throw in the safety car. There's a lot of guys in. Look at this, half the field. More, probably. Jeff Adams, Dave Oliver, and Andrew Neal are probably still coming around to the pits, so... Yeah, wow. So, Broad, Morris, Milne, Donahue are the only ones not to pit.
But you would get the feeling, the impression that they're going to be in at the end of this lap.
It would have to be. I'd expect with like 80% of the field. Runs wide, Caleb. Look out.
Cold tyres, among other things. And Martin Davis off again as well. So a wide variety of different factors there contributing to that, but that didn't help.
Not at all.
Cold tyres, locked up on the brakes, run it wide into turn 1 and tripped up on the exit. No harm, no foul. He's able to resume and push on, and does so in position number 11 right now.
Sorry for the guys chatting. I need to press the button and bring the chat back up. Gonna add ponchos. Great idea.
Yeah,
I'll take that one. I'll take that one to the next committee meeting, that we need to sell ponchos. Doesn't help that Australia is coming into the summer months, but you never know.
Some idiot will find themselves out in the storm at some point this season, either at a sporting event or a music concert or something, Joe, but can't be helped.
In.
So the poncho might come in handy. Here we go.
Broad, Morris, Milne,
and Donahue. Critical part of the race right now.
Here comes Steve Bull. Just turned onto the main straight now.
Keep your eyes peeled, ladies and gentlemen. Here they come. All up across the start-finish line.
So where's Walker? Broad, sorry. There he is coming out. Oh, wow.
1.6 to the good. And it's still early doors. I reckon if we have a look now, we might have transitioned to very lightly wet, Joe. Or still lightly wet, but it's diminishing. It's getting very close to being very lightly wet. Lightly wet still. So, but as you can tell, the spray nowhere near as much as what it was at the start of the race. So they are clearing the standing water, but not enough to get iRacing across the line to say very lightly wet, at which point you are having that consideration, that conversation with yourself regarding transitioning over onto the dry tyres as they make their way through. Donahue back to 7th at the expense of Luke Page, who moves up into 6th.
My prediction of 4 laps seeing a dry line was a little bit off. We're on lap 9 now, and we're still not seeing that dry line. Oh, no, a little bit of dry there. So we're just starting to we'll jump him on board and have a look. Yeah, see, that dry line's just starting to form. On the straights, you can just see it starting to open up there now, but there's still a lot of standing water on the edges of the track to make it very difficult. Right as I say it, Tom gets a bit of a tank slapper. Oh, don't touch that grass, Tom. Oh, just got to be so patient through your carousel. King, this wouldn't be so bad there because you got a lot of wing speed, a lot more downforce as you get to the turn in. Obviously, nowhere near as fast as when it's in the dry, but the slower corners, the wet track will show up more in your grip level than it will in the high speed sections. But this part here is just tiptoeing up through here, off camber, on crests, standing water on the apex, on the exit. Oh, you'd be sweating bullets driving around on this track at the moment, I think.
You've just got to adjust your driving line accordingly at the moment. You'll be working out where those, and look at the dirt at one as well. Look at the debris on the road on the exit and entry points and the apex point of turn one. It is littered in rubbish. We're right on board with Adam Lavis is trying to fight and wrestle the car through turn one at the moment. Down to two, down to three. But the interesting thing for mine, you're noticing they're not riding the ripple strips, and they're also trying to avoid them on the exit as well. Bloody hard to do when you're tightening the line on the exit, but you're widening it on the way in.
You can see, as I say, you can see in the braking zones there, the track's starting to dry. It's like not a lot, but you can see that line. So, yeah, maybe by lap 31, we might have a full dry line. A little bit different than lap 4. Joe De La Rosa and Martin Davis. This is your battle for position at the moment. Your closest battle on track.
And what a performance it's been so far from Dylan Walker, up 5 spots. 7 spots for Dave Oliver, biggest mover so far. Jeff Adams up 5 too. But who has qualified and who has not? When we go back and review the tape, who gains purely on the fact that they've... Oh, no, De La Rosa off the road. De La Rosa off the road.
Dylan.
Who has been able to benefit from positional gain as the night has gone on, but will also still be eligible to tick the box and gain the bonus points because they qualified? I'm not sure everyone qualified. I didn't get a good enough look at that qualifying results sheet.
I'm certain everybody probably tried.
Yes.
But, in the conditions at qual... Oh, look at that water on the apex there. Wow.
Yeah. Now that's interesting. Oh, trouble and gone. Martin Davis. Martin Davis is gone at Canada on the exit. Lit it up on the exit at 12. Bang, in the wall and done. Dave Oliver to pit lane now. His second stop of the race at the end of lap 10. But he started from pit lane as well, so that counts as number
onto the
one.
wet part of the exit and bonk.
Whooshka. It's a very light nudge. Now, secondly, with all of that, Joe, still no caution. But I think we've just got an insight into over that back half of the circuit where it's very surrounded by trees, out of the carousel up towards Canada, very, very, very surrounded by trees. So that might be the part of the circuit where we're just going to struggle to dry the circuit a little bit more around there because you've got no warmth, you've got no direct sunlight beaming down on the circuit. You've also noticed above overhead too, mate, that the and by the way, that little bit of road there that you just saw to the left of the driver that's the motorcycle configuration of the course through that extra little dog leg
we can't use.
That we can't use. It's astonishing, isn't it, that we... Oh, Morris with a little bit of a slip and slide through Canada. We can't use. I find that absolutely disgraceful. That we've been that we've got 2 configurations that are 6.5 kilometres apiece, and we cannot actually use one of them in iRacing land. I find that astonishing. It'd be great for the MX-5s or the Vs of the world or the 86s, but with Indycar, you would only use the straightforward 14 turn 6.5 kilometre configuration that we've got now. But the point that I was trying to make, which I feel like I've forgotten in all of this, that part of the circuit over the back, you've got no daylight coming through, no natural light overhead because it's all surrounded by trees. You've also noticed there was a bit of sun poking through on about lap 4 or 5. Now we're just covered in cloud again. but you can see a dry line forming definitively.
Absolutely, yeah. That was why I did the blimp shot, just to show the punters just that forming of the dry line, which you can see there now. Now, some of the guys, I don't know whether or not we're at a point where in simulating that you want to get out of that to cool your tyres and keep them on the wet part of the track, being a wet tyre to get you through to the next stop. No, I'm not sure how well iRacing has modelled that with the tyres, but I do know if you jump onto a dry track with a wet tyre, you fry them off in about half a lap. It's almost as bad as using a slick tyre on a wet track, especially with a car like this.
Yes. Through they go towards Canada once more, and Stephen Bull's the race leader. Have a look at that. He's out to the tune of 3.9, nearly 4 seconds, but it amounts to nothing very shortly whenever this competition caution flies.
You can hear the tyres absolutely complaining. Listen.
Yep.
Tyres are
Begging for
screaming.
mercy. The interesting thing in all that, Joe, there's the closest battle on the racetrack, by the way. Tom Donahue all over Luke Page like a cheap suit. But the interesting thing for mine in all of that, mate, when we look at what's playing out here in front of us, you've got Stephen Bull, you've got Tyson Broad, you've got Ethan Morris. We've got no competition caution yet. I'm actually really impressed. Unfortunately, our mate Matt Schmidtke's parked up and done, and he alt F4'd it. Did Schmidt.
He did.
But the rest of the field is out there persevering with it. Only Andrew Neal a lap down at the moment. They can give him that lap back during the competition caution whenever that flies. But the lack of incidents tonight, the lack of crashes specifically, has been very impressive.
Especially in the conditions with the rain and... I mean,
Yep.
It's not just... I mean, how the track is now is probably just as tricky as it was at the start, right? Because you've got... they're getting faster and faster and faster as the laps are ticking off because that dry line's coming. But as I said earlier on, now, like, you've got Luke Page and Tom Donahue are in a real battle here, but it makes it difficult because you can't get out onto that wet part and still carry the speed and make your pass. It's almost, see there, Tom got out of the, Tom just got out of the groove then and ended up holding up Luke, but Luke couldn't do anything with it because track's wet offline. So,
Absolutely. Trucker, can you do me a favour and pick up a shot of the car in 18th, please?
in 18th, Andrew Neal.
There he is.
Come on.
Hello there,
And he's
Mr.
in the-
Neal.
Do that.
And he's in the booth with us as well.
We're looking over your right shoulder, by the way, Mr. Neal.
Andrew the Snail.
Oh, how are you going, champion?
Terrible.
But,
I
but
have
you're,
no
you're
idea how to
persevering
drive
with
these
it.
cars.
Schmitty's already packed up and, taking his bat and ball elsewhere.
Yeah, well, I didn't crash that badly. I just went to put it in reverse and hit first instead and just nosed it into the wall. Oh no, now I've got to get out the way of one of these cars.
You do, but in saying that, hopefully they'll let you get your lap back very shortly with the competition caution. And that transition from wet to dry is, whoa, good save. Good save. In comes Luke Page at the end of lap 13. Now this is interesting. This is interesting. Can we keep an eye on Pagey and just see what he's doing in pit lane at the end of lap 13? Jeff Adams as well. Nathan Michael too. Do they know something that we don't? Are they thinking safety car on the way and they might be on a dry track on the other side of it? Or is there something else contributing to this? Look at how wet it is on pit lane. This seems bizarre for mine that they're in this early.
He's not going up on the jacks, so he's staying on the tyres he's got. But Jeffrey, what's Jeffrey doing? He's changing tyres. Do they change? He's going to dries. He's on
got to
reds.
drive. All right, there's your first change. There's your first change. And Nathan Michael's the second. He's gone to primary. We've maybe hit that crossover point.
Oh.
Wowee, here we go. Strap in, trucker, buckle up and hold on. Let's go. The final 17 laps are going to be well worth keeping an eye on, ladies and gentlemen.
The next
There'll
couple
be
of
18
minutes,
to go next time by the line.
keep an eye on their lap pace. Oh, wow.
Oh,
Caution! Caution! Perfectly caught by Adams and Michael. What about this? What about this? And there's nothing these guys can do, Trucker.
Nothing.
They've got to go around another lap. The safety car closes the pit lane the first time by the post.
Oh, wow.
Wowee. Could not have called that any better if your names are Jeff Adams or Nathan Michael. What the hell?
So, the other thing I'm going to call 15, say 16 lap. Those guys are only going to need one more stop to get home. Everybody's only going to need one more stop to get home.
Yeah,
but,
you would imagine. Yeah.
But Dave, Jeff, and Nathan, they've just had their final stops. So.
No. They'll still need one more. Everyone will need one more.
Yeah, sorry, I meant to say they don't have to stop now, that they'll vault up to the front. So.
Oh,
wow.
Hang on. Dylan Walker, Caleb Patterson, Leslie Reeves. Surely they're all going to get end of line penalties here.
They certainly will. Yeah, absolutely they will.
Oh boy.
That people, I don't know. Do people not look at iRacing directions at the top of the screen?
Well, they're not going to get. They're not going to get hurled across the coals.
No,
by iRacing, because it's a club rule, that one, isn't it?
Well, it's a club rule and an iRacing rule as well. Like if you go into the pits under a closed pit, you go to the back. And they probably had no choice. Probably never had enough fuel to get them to the end from when they pitted last time. So yeah, and when you don't have a choice, and this is so. A lot of the guys in MtnMen have worked this out. What we do, and this is a little bit of an insider, is if you've got 2 laps of fuel left in your car, and you know there's going to be a caution, if you head off to do a lap with 1 point whatever worth of laps of fuel, you're blowing it, because if they throw a yellow, you're going to get a penalty and go to the rear. You've got to pit. When you know there's a competition caution coming, you have to pit with enough fuel to make sure that if they do throw a yellow, you can get back around to the pit. You have to do that. So
Thorne's saying that some are complaining that they had fuel issues. Now, that raises questions for mine, because that tells you that 7 or 8 laps is the threshold for these guys. So there's mega saving going on now, just to ensure that you aren't coughing and spluttering across the line at the end of lap 32. Because if you're only getting 7 laps to a stint, you're in a world of hurt. If you can get 8 or 9 here, you are very well placed to make it a 3-stop race. But if you're only getting 7, you're in a world of hurt right now. Plus, you've got an end-of-line penalty.
So Dylan pitted on lap 14, so that was after the yellow was thrown.
Yep.
Luke Page stopped 13, so he's the first of the guys who's pitted last. Like, legal. So you've got
Luke,
that's right. Dave Oliver on lap 10, Jeff Adams on 13 along with Nathan Michael, and Martin Davis stopped lap 10 as well. So,
however, can I flag this? Have a look at what Luke Page is running tyre-wise. I'm not sure. I don't think he's changed tyres, and that's why he's gone in. That's why he's just gone in. So Dylan Walker's going to go through and lead the field, but he's going to get an end-of-line penalty once all this sorts out. The rest of the field make their way in. Dave Oliver stays out. Now, I'm curious as to why he would. Because it's clear that the move to dryers is on, and Dave's going to stay out one more lap, maybe something he'll come to regret a little bit later on. The lights go out on the safety car this time, and therefore we should see a green flag restart at the end of lap 16. So half the race down, half the race still to go. Now have a look at the lap changes going on there. Leslie Reeves stopped on lap 14 but didn't go to dries. He's still out there. So Dave Oliver and Leslie Reeves are staying on the dries. On the wets. Everybody else has gone to dries. And I believe Joe De La Rosa will be the last of those. Yes, he is. Andrew Neil getting his lap back at the moment. Will go to pit lane very shortly.
And
then it just
try and
becomes a
get
whole-
back onto the end of the bus.
That's right. That becomes a whole different challenge for him then, because the rest of the field's already completed half of lap 16. He's got to try and get back on the train.
You going to be able
Not
to
sure
do
if
it,
they'll be able
Neely,
to
or
do
are you
that.
going to have to call for dispensation from race control to hold him up another lap?
Yeah, I'm absolutely not going to make it, but I'm also not going to hold them up.
Fair call. Fair call.
Very gentlemanly.
I'm just out here to have a bit of fun.
So,
I'd be on the horn.
Yeah. Dylan Walker, Caleb Patterson, Leslie Reeves. There's a fair bit of movement going on at the moment. Luke Page, there's a few people that are going to serve end-of-line penalties here. So race control just reordering the train at the moment. That'll leave us with Dave Oliver leading Jeff Adams, but Oliver is on the wets. And we know that Oliver, having got to 10 laps in the first stint, will try and get 12 laps out of the second stint to do 10 laps in the third stint. He's going to try and make it a two-stop race. But everybody else is only going to have to stop once from here as well, we believe, if they've got their numbers right. It all comes back to the numbers. How often does it come back to a mathematical equation, a calculator race, ladies and gentlemen?
I've got to ask, you've gone on to the primes nearly. You didn't think that going on to the alternates was a good choice? I'm genuinely interested in why you've gone to the primes and not the alternates. Obviously, it's a cold track and slightly damp track. Would you think this is a better tyre choice for these conditions?
Joe, you think I know something about these cars?
Oh.
I know absolutely nothing about these cars. I've just chosen whatever.
Okay.
And we'll see how we go.
I think the term he's looking for is winging it.
Yes, I'm winging it. I've got no roll bar adjustment on my steering wheel. I got no push to pass or boost, whatever they call it in these things.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I said I won't hold anyone up. I'm just out here having a bit of fun.
Yep. I'll tell you what, you're going to go very close to catching up to the bus, I think.
Nothing wrong with that.
They're only just coming down to Canada now, so I reckon you're going to make it, Neely.
I'm definitely going to have a good run on anyone that's still on wets because it's pretty grippy so far.
Yeah, and he's definitely going to be up to full speed, but he's not been able to save fuel. That's the thing working against Neely at the moment.
Oh, what have you done?
Uh-oh.
No, you're fine. The only one on wets is Leslie Reeves. Everybody else is on a dry. Oh, and Dave Oliver, sorry.
Yep, and Oliver's actually the sitting duck. He's bringing us back to green. Lights out on the safety car. It goes to pit lane. Let's get back to work. At Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Rd-7 Disruptive Labs. Road to Indy Series on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. The top two shoot through. They take off. Steering wheel under pressure from Ethan Morrison. We're all chasing Nathan Michael. The run to turn one. It's a smooth and clean single file run so far. Very good stuff.
There's a move.
Move. Trouble is the wet patch, the wrong side of the road.
I've heard
but
that
he made
before.
It work, Dylan Walker. Yeah. He got through all right, but I was a bit worried how the slicks were going to pull up on the slippery surface. They did okay. Heaney under pressure. Pianazola and Donahue side by side. Heaney's got Reeves and Neal behind him. He's got Patterson and Dylan Rosa immediately in front of him.
Oh, Reeves on the wet.
Off goes Jeff Adams. Off goes Jeff Adams.
Oh,
One of the
Jeffrey.
beneficiaries of calling the strategic power play of the night. And it's all blown up on him.
Jeff.
Look at this. No. Turn 7. Another one bites the
Jeff
dust.
Adams. He'll get that reference, by the way, when he watches this back.
Anyone will get that reference this week.
Angus Mills had an incident.
It's kind of been the trademark of this week, and Joe De La Rosa as well, and Martin Davis and Leslie Reeves.
Gotten wide on the cold tyres.
Watch them all. Oh no, there's a big shunt. There has to be. There's no other way to describe it. I think everybody's tripped up on that same piece of real estate, Joe. We have a look. Watch this on replay. Watch it. De La Rosa on the tow rope on pit lane. I think there were a few that tripped up on, yeah, look at this, bang, look at that. So Joe De La Rosa, I think we need to rewind the tape maybe 10 seconds there to get a clearer picture. Neely's arrived, look at this, bang. 3 cars involved, all caught up, and well done to Neely trying to get out of the way there. And also, I think Keeney, oh my goodness. Schmicky packed up the bat and ball and went home about half an hour ago, and all hell has ensued. Chaos. Look at that. Leslie Reeves nowhere to go. Bang. Goodbye. 4 cars caught up in it, 3 of them written off. Davis, Reeves, and De La Rosa and Trucker. I'm not sure if they've got a fast repair waiting for them there. I think that's their night done. If they don't have a fast repair waiting for them, it's their night done. Look at them, they just went in like Skittles. 1, 2, 3, 10-pin bowling dominoes. Look at them. Martin Davis gets back out after a fast repair, 4.17 seconds. Poor old Greg Heaney, he's about to watch any clear air evaporate on him. Bang, yep. Oh boy, another moment, and it's interesting, we've been waiting for a moment all night, hadn't we? Whoa, big hit, no, crash, gone, can you believe this? Stephen Bull and also Adam Davis. Oh, Dylan Walker was down the inside as well, and he's on the Canada. It's all gone to hell. In the 7th round of the series, Davis is limping back to pit lane, that car is fried. Dave Oliver is in as well. And if Ethan Morris didn't have one hand on the championship before tonight, Joey certainly does now. Stephen Bull on the tow rope. Adam Davis limping at home. Look at this. Oh, the grass. He checked up. He ran himself out of room. He was trying to get by the car in front, which I'm not sure who that was at the time, just quietly. We need to have another look. It was one of the Whiskey Business Racing entries. Was it? No. It was... I'm just trying to work out who that was. Was it Angus Milne? Or was it Nathan Michael? I dead set couldn't pick that, I'm sorry. Let's have a look. Stephen Bull, who was ahead of him? Can we ID that car? Yes, we can. No. So poor old Adam Davis gets caught up in another major incident. Not his first one this week. Let's have another look. There it is. So Greg Heaney arrives on scene late. Trucker's doing his level best to get an ID for me, but that's all right. Tyson Broad, Nathan Michael, Ethan Morris, Angus Milne and Tom Donoghue, the top 5. And that has blown this race wide apart. Let's have a look at it. Oh, no. It keeps doing it. So Dave Oliver's at the head of that train. They're wrecking behind him. It's that 3rd car. Nathan Michael's just been passed by Ethan Morris. It was Nathan Michael, wasn't it? And if it wasn't Michael, it was another one of the Whiskey Business Racing stable. So if it wasn't Michael, it was Luke Page. So, wowee. And you saw the incident. We saw it multiple times over. So there's... Joe De La Rosa not holding brake contact, Greg Heaney lap 17. That's neither here nor there with regards to what the battle that we were looking at. Dave Oliver's now been gobbled up because he's gone to pit lane. It was Nathan Michael, it was. So Bull was looking on the inside, and as soon as he clipped the grass, Joe, as soon as he clipped the green stuff, like, it just picked him up and spat him out. He's in our green room waiting for us to drag him in, and I'm sorry that we haven't got to him until now because his night is done. There it is from Nathan Michael's standpoint. And by that point, Bull had already collected the grass, and then he speared left, speared right. Adam Davis gets cleaned up. He gets a fast repair and gets back out there, but it looks as though your night might be done, Stephen.
Yeah, that's the one for me. I think getting a bit too hot-headed out there, a bit too aggressive from me. I'm going to pin the blame on that one on myself. You know, too eager to get offline there and pay the consequences.
Well, I love the open admission, but to be fair, at one point there, we're looking at it thinking, okay, the move might be on, but very quickly, you found yourself out of real estate. Did the door close on you, or just talk us through it from your standpoint?
That's just a bit of how that part of the track goes. You need to be aware of that as you try and make passes there. You know, normally it's okay just to touch the grass a little bit, but obviously with it being wet, that's just ice at the moment. And you know, he's done the right thing. Just put his car in the middle of the road. It's good defensive driving, and you know, with the goat track, you sort of you got to risk it a little bit. And so after my first mishap getting a bit sideways, I did put it into fuel save mode to switch to the one more stop to the end strategy, which I believe Ethan's probably on at the moment.
Yep.
And you know, I didn't need to be doing that there, so probably could have bided my time a bit more.
And this is the point, right? We're just having a look at some of the penalties being handed out. Dylan Walker copping a warning. Just to give everybody the lay of the land here, Luke Page has now stopped 3 times. Andrew Neil 4 times. See, Neely's moved up to 11th spot in all of this carnage. And that was the incident with Walker and Jeff Adams. I don't want to put the mocker on you, Andrew, but you're
very much like a Stephen Bradbury.
Yep, that's it.
I'm just here to skate on by.
Oh, yeah, and Dylan Walker has come up on that incident and tripped himself up, so no harm, no foul there. Greg Heaney has escaped without incident in that one. Dave Oliver's stopped 4 times now and has set the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 47.144. Adam Lavis caught up in that incident with you. Unfortunately, just collateral. Nothing he could do about that. Story of his week, really. Martin Davis is all over him like a cheap suit. Leslie Reeves, the last runner on the circuit. He's about to go a lap down. In comes Nathan Michael. Now, I think that might be too early. I'm not sure if he can get home on an 11-lap stint. Tyson Broad, Ethan Morris will be stretching it for 10, and that's next time by. Then Angus Milne, Tom Donoghue, they all continue on. Jordan Pianazzola, Luke Page, Dylan Walker. But Nathan Michael and Jeff Adams are in early. I think they're early.
And they got 1 more stop to go after this one. This one's actually pretty interesting. If there was no safety car and you were really bad on fuel, it might have even been a 6 stop.
Oh, really? Yeah, righto. Jesus. Because we were looking at it thinking it was going to be a 3-stopper, because we were looking at you blokes that stopped on lap 8. But I was going to say there was a bit of trigger pulling before the safety car happened, mate. And that was a great call at the time. We didn't think it was because we were a bit perplexed by the numbers. We looked at the first round of pit stops and we thought if you're only getting 7 out of your stint, you're in a bit of trouble. If you're getting 8, you're just going to be okay. But as you're saying, it's a really strange one tonight.
Yeah, and the other thing you got to consider is when the safety car comes out, the pit's closed. So if you're doing your fuel safe stint, and 8 laps is quite the save around here, with the safety car, you're going to have to get 9 here plus an 8 to go to the end. You can do that with the safety car, but 8 on the green flag is pretty tough. You lose on a good second a lap doing that. And that's if you're not leaving enough fuel to get around the lap if the safety car comes out. So what's happened with that safety car there is I've saved an extra half a lap of fuel, so I'm doing about 7.5, and that's caught a few guys out there. They've got stuck without fuel and got end-of-line penalties from that.
That's Jordan Pianazzola in 5th place at the moment, having a dream run at the moment, up 7 spots. Andrew Neil and Dave Oliver are the biggest movers of the night so far, plus 8 apiece. Have a look at that if you don't mind. In they come, Pianazzola, Walker and Page as well, the trio, all in at the end of lap 22. Broad, Morris, Milne and Donoghue going for an extra lap and probably towards their last pit stop. It's going to be very interesting to see if they can make it work. Neil, Oliver, Michael, Heaney continuing on at the conclusion of the 22nd lap. Unfortunately, incidents like that, Stephen, we don't like to see them. It was the first big incident of the race. It waited until after the safety car to play out. But what that has done has taken a few people out of contention and spread the field out very thinly.
Yeah, I think it was going to happen here with the safety car just as strategies start to play out. I know I was kind of banking my strategy on where the safety car fell, so that's just sort of when the cards get shuffled, if you will. But I think now as we see this field splitting, that's people's different strategies coming into play.
What was the difference in fuel burn numbers like? Early in the race, the track was quite wet, obviously, and the pace was out of it. I think we were running, 210s or so, 208s to 10s, and we're now in the 150 zone, low 150s, high 48s. The fuel burn difference, was there an extra lap worth of fuel early on when the track was really wet, or has it not really made that much of a difference between the first stint, like the first 7 laps with a really wet track versus what we've got now?
Yeah, so I think the 6-lap stint was pretty easy on the wets, so that'll be a 5-stopper. And saving to 7 wasn't too hard. You naturally take it a bit easier in the wet. So, but from your maximum burn in the dry to your full save, it's about 1.25 litres you're saving when you're going real easy on it.
And very nice as well, Stephen, to actually go wet weather racing in these cars, which is something of a rarity for our club.
Yeah, definitely. I think these are one of the best cars to go wet weather racing in as well. Just they're so friendly with getting the rear sort of stepped out and using the throttle to rotate. Coming out of
look out.
Canada.
Dave Oliver's on the wet part of the track. Oh!
Off into the grass! Off into the grass! Will there be a bit of a redress? No! Wow, wait, Braun's off the road! Tyson Braun is off the road as well! He's deep at turn 1, exactly where we were just looking with Dave Oliver and Nathan Michael, and Braun has taken himself right out of contention! A game-changing moment in this race, because look who's found his way to the front, trucker! It's Ethan Morris!
Again.
One hand on the championship for Ethan Morris becomes 1.5 hands on the championship for Ethan Morris, and this is how it happened.
Cold tyres coming out of the pits on the dry line. Oh, cold tyre. Oh, he'd be shattered. He'd be shattered, Tyson.
Oh, boy.
Dropped him back to 10th.
Can you believe that? With Stephen Bull out of the race and Tyson Broad dropping down the order and Tom Donahue down the order and everybody else out of contention, Ethan Morris on pit road now is the effective race leader and probably champion-elect after next week at the Milwaukee Mile, which we'll get Stephen Bull's thoughts on in just a moment. My goodness gracious me, a game-changing moment. And it was interesting too, Stephen, and I mentioned this to Trucker earlier, but the wet weather seemed to bring him back to the pack. He had to work really hard through that first stint, and I said to him, if we get to a wet-dry crossover and it coincides with the safety car, who'd have known that it was going to actually play out that way? I had no idea where that competition caution was going to fall. Watch Ethan Morris on the run home, and sure enough, the seas have parted just beautifully for him.
Yeah, definitely. He's looking really strong now. He's got no more stops to the end. Still on that bit of a fuel save, but there's no one ahead of him on the full push. And if you're on that full push strategy, you need to be out ahead with track position right now because you've got another stop to go.
Dave Oliver has another stop. It's coming up in a couple of laps. Nathan Michael has another stop, we think. Jordan Pianazzola, it's a maybe whether he can get 10 out of that. We doubt it. 8 or 9's probably as far as you're going to be able to stretch it here. Dylan Walker, the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 46.401. Wow-wee. Jordan Pianazzola's +8. Jeff Adams is +6. They're the two big movers of the race thus far, excluding Dave Oliver. Can we just have a look, Joe? I don't like to do this normally partway through the race, but do you mind bringing up the full graphic results sheet of qualifying there for us, just so we can have a look and analyse who we've got to keep an eye on with regards to the, and very lightly wet, says the circuit track conditions at the moment now as well. Overcast conditions, 28 degrees, the on-track 23, the ambient westerly winds 11 kilometres an hour. That's the update from the weather side of things for you. The results graph from qualifying, I just want to gauge who qualified and who didn't, because if everyone qualified, there's no problem, right?
Yeah, I
But if-
can't bring it up. That's
But you can't bring
clicking
it
the
up?
qualifying.
Okay, that's the problem.
That's clicking the grid button now, so.
Okay, copy that. That's all right, mate. All good. But we'll see what we can do about that later on. Try and get some information with regards to that, because I'm just trying to work out whether Dave Oliver, who started from pit lane and is up 17 spots and is in now, is still in contention for most positions gained tonight, or whether he didn't set a time in quali and has shot himself in the foot. I don't know. I need to clarify that. There was a lot going on at the start of this race. Wowee.
Oh, look at this run.
It was nice and spirited and feisty at the time that we got the race back under after the safety car, and Dylan Walker is finally making his way back through the field. That was a good move to move up into fourth.
Question
But
is,
again,
did Dave
can he make it
Oliver qualify? And if he did, what position? So we got race control here. It's about ready to answer our question for us.
thank you, Thorn. We just need the results from
didn't
quali.
set quali
Who set a
time?
time? No, so Matt Schmicke and Dave
Not
Oliver
eligible.
didn't set a quali time. Thank you. Thank you. So that means that Nathan Michael and Dylan Walker 5 spots gained. Jeff Adams 7 places gained. Are the leaders, the clubhouse leaders, and Jordan Pianazzola plus 10. But we know he's got an. Oh, actually, I don't know. Does he have an extra stop or not? But look at what Ethan Morris has done. He has just obliterated this field. In the absence of Stephen Bull, on the back of the mistake for Tyson Broad, he has checked out and said, "See you lot next Friday." Dead set. Another race win coming his way. Match point, Ethan Morris. Is it even a contest at this point? Off goes Oliver. Off goes Oliver. He gets it back on. But that's a slow return to the racetrack for D. Oliver.
Oh, he's just left pit lane too. Just come out
Andrew
of the
Neal was
pits.
behind him at the time. Let's have a look at this. Oh dear.
Yeah, tyre's not up to temp yet.
Are you feeling better with the thing now that it's dry, Andrew?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm feeling better now that I don't have the leaders coming through me, that's for sure. When it's wet,
He
was
sounds so.
terrifying.
He sounds so sure of that statement there, Joe.
He did. He's like, yeah, I guess so.
Love it. Ethan Morris, Jordan
still on the
Pianazzola, and
black
Nathan
stuff,
Michael. Right, that's exactly right, mate. That is exactly right.
That's the main
Unlike
thing.
Leslie Reeves, who's now on the tow rope. Leslie Reeves is on the tow rope. And Adam Lavis is in for his final stop. There's 6 to go. We've hit the 55-minute marker. Oh, we should be okay. We should be all right on time certainty. Just. Actually, hang on. No, hang on. Oh, I'm a little bit skeptical about that now.
We're 65 minutes.
Yeah, no. Just keep an eye. I want to do the calculations based purely on when Ethan Morris gets back to the line. I think we're fine, but I just want to do the maths when he gets back to the line. There's about 9 minutes to go. If we keep going around at a minute 48, that's 12 seconds less a minute, so that's going to be 9 minutes, so we should be okay. 12 seconds times 5 is 60 seconds, so it's 9 minutes at the line for Ethan Morris based on those numbers, which means that we should be okay because we can start the last lap inside that last 2 minutes and go into overtime if needs be. So we're good to run full distance here. Walker makes a move on the inside of Nathan Michael.
Whoa,
that is
I
for
seen
third.
that coming.
And then he puts it wide. He put it off the road. Michael gets third back and Walker's going to reset and try again. Oh my goodness. Another
Yeah.
spin on the tail.
Just watched him step out into the wet part of the track and hit the brakes, and it just wasn't going to stop. So Nathan Michael's in for a pit.
The same part of the circuit that tripped our mate Stephen Bull up, and as you say, Michael and Adams into the pit lane. They're taken out of contention, and Dylan Walker gets third anyway. Oh, drama-filled 30 seconds or so at Road America. Look at this.
Wet part of the track, was never going to pull it up. Just, out into the gravel.
And if he knew what he knows now and that Nathan Michael was going to go to pit lane, he may have played the patient game. But it's easier said than done when you're out there in the war of battle, isn't it, Stephen Bull?
Yeah, it's a risk you got to take. I was going to say with the wet driving earlier, I think the guys who do dirt ovals would be quite comfy here because every lap you're just searching for grip. It changes every single lap, and when you put it into that passing manoeuvre, you don't know what you got till you're there.
Fantastic stuff. It's Angus Milne in 4th. It's Luke Page in 5th. Whiskey Business, right? Actually, look at that. We've got 5 different teams in the top 5. 11.6 works for Jordan Pianazzola. You've got Dylan Walker for Momentum. You've got Ethan Morris representing none at the moment, so we'll put that down as privateer. You've got Luke Page for Whiskey Business. Everything simulated for Angus Milne. 5 different entities represented in the top 5. What about this from Jordan Pianazzola?
So Jordan's currently 7 seconds up the road from Ethan. Sorry, 7 seconds up the road from Jordan, and I reckon that second back to 8th still have to pit.
Yeah.
As Dylan Walker, he dives in. Tyson Broad, both in.
The only one that we are confident is good to go to the end is Ethan Morris.
Ethan Morris. And Nathan Michael, who's over there.
Fascinating race. There's no doubt about that. Yep, the field's too far spread out for the sake of it. Can we get a replay of what happened to Leslie Reeves, Joe? Because Nathan Michael nearly threw it away, nearly put it in the wall. Coming over the main straight. The tank slapper had him 90 degrees right, and now he's under an immense amount of pressure. Neil, Michael, over down the inside. Michael chopped off the nose of his teammate. It would have been lively discussion in the Discord for Whiskey Business, I'm sure. Wowee. Leslie Reeves is on the tow rope, has been for 4 minutes and 16 seconds. Joe De La Rosa is out there 6 laps down. If he can stay 6 laps down, he'll be actually, it's almost 7, but he'll be good on 75% race distance as long as it isn't any more than 8. That was what happened to Leslie Reeves. Light touch, but enough to put him out of business. Stephen Bull, Matt Schmicke confirmed retirements right now.
Oh, touch the curb, green, still wet curbs.
That second hit has finished him off, yep. That's rather savage. That's rather unfortunate. Wow, so there's a question mark over the guys that stopped on 22 and maybe Tom Donahue that stopped on 23. Let's have a look at this. And who does that favour? More to the point.
Pianazzola.
The push to pass is being ripped through like you wouldn't believe. And in they come en masse on lap 29. 3 to go for Ethan Morris, who's just laughing his way to the checkered flag. Where are we time-wise? 9:49 Eastern Standard Time. I can say this. He's taking the piss at this particular point. He dead set is taking the piss. He's going to win this by half a minute, Joe. It's not even funny anymore, the dominance of this bloke.
I was just about to say, what's the over-under on a 30-second victory?
Yeah, I know. In fact, it's over at the moment. Tom Donahue is 33 seconds in arrears. It's just superhuman what he's brought to the table. He's nailed the strategy. He persevered through the wet weather part of the evening where, arguably we've found an Achilles heel there tonight and tonight only. He saw his way through that. He got to the other side. He knew dry weather was on the way, and he's absolutely smashed it from that particular point. We've lost Andrew Neil at this point. He's back on pit road. Now, what's happened there? Is that routine pit stop for Neely? I hope so.
Yep.
Yep, he's fine. So he's just let himself out of the booth whilst in the lane. So I should have leveraged a few more comments from Neely, but there's been too much going on out there.
I think he was concentrating.
I think so as well. He's in 13th. He's +4. He's going all right. We should be cleansed. We should be right to go to the checkered flag now, surely. Maybe a question mark on Tommy. If he can get that 9 laps, he might cough and splutter his way to the line. And Pianazzola's 39 seconds down the road, but Morris is cruising. And he's 37 seconds to the good. And all of a sudden, now that he's back out on the track, he's back with us. Nearly slid back into the booth. There you go. Thoughts on that, Stephen? I mean, Ethan Morris, all you can do is tip your hat and applaud, right?
Yeah, he's one of the only guys who's picked the strategy off that safety car.
Pianazzola was wide at Canada. Pianazzola was wide at Canada. Dylan Walker's taken third away. I'll come back to you, Stephen. Dylan Walker has stolen third to the death. There's 3 laps to go, 2 laps to go, in fact, and they're on their way up the hill. And off the road was Angus Milne. He'll fall back into the clutches of Oliver and Page and Michael. But Pianazzola has been passed and pipped for the podium, right with the finish line in view. Now he's back down the inside on the push to pass to turn one. Whoa! The gloves are off as Walker relentlessly fights for third.
I reckon Tom Donahue is just about out of fuel.
I reckon you're right.
Yeah. So he's all right. He's lost a second and a half.
He's gone. Have a listen to him.
Feel safe for sure.
He's clutching all the way. And that margin of Ethan Morris, we're now going to start having a conversation of the overs and unders. Dylan Walker in a second. Pianazzola in a third. Donahue limping his way to the line. Clutching beyond recognition. And Angus Milne's only 2.5 seconds away. Dave Oliver and Luke Page are close by. This could end very, very badly for Tom Donahue. 144.662 from a disgruntled Tyson Broad is the fastest lap of the race so far. White flag flies and Ethan Morris is on his way home. And this is interesting because we're now having a conversation as to whether or not that's going to balloon out beyond 42 seconds, boys. It's 41.9. Could he get it to 45? It's a crushing victory. The competition have had their pants pulled down tonight, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. He certainly showed up everybody's weaknesses tonight. Absolutely storming drive.
I mean, you know, there's arguments to be had with regards to, good to see Barney stuck around for the second part of the doubleheader, actually.
Tom couldn't do it.
To get a splash and dash of fuel. We knew he was going to have trouble doing that. Off track went Joe De La Rosa. He's just got to get it across the line to complete lap 24, and he'll do that, and he'll get the 75% race distance. Broad storming back through the field in 9th, and rather disgruntled about it. Pianazzola and Walker still arguing over second. Milne and Page and Oliver have all gone by. Nathan Michael in for 7th and Jeff Adams is 8th. The run to the checkered flag, Donahue and Davis having to stop. Neely, can Neely get up and pip these blokes? He might pip Davis, actually. He'll pip Martin Davis. Can he get
and
Donahue?
And he's got by Tom.
On the outside? No, Donahue on the inside. Donahue holds on.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, he's off the road. He's off the road. Just like Tyson Broad. Donahue throws it off the road. Neely's in 11th. If someone else fluffs it on the final lap, he's looking at the top 10. Checkered flag will fly for Ethan Morris in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Morris has done it again. Heaney finishes the lap down, but Ethan Morris gets his 6th win of the season. 6 from 7 and 1.5 hands on the championship. Unreal. Now look at this. Walker and Pianazzola. Walker's just got to get it through the final quarter cleanly. Pianazzola will have a lunge. They'll be on the button on the way up the hill. Pianazzola's out of push to pass. Gets second. Winning margin 41.9. What about that for a contest? Crushing victory at the top, but a cracking scrap for the minor placings. Photo, Jeff Adams pipped to the line by Nathan Michael. Luke Page held off Dave Oliver, Nathan Michael and Jeff Adams. There was 0.74 of a second, covering 5th and 8th. Angus Milne for 4th, and a lonely one at that. Broad got back to 9th, held off Patterson. What the hell? Oh my goodness. Now, did I see right? Did I see that someone on this screen had a black flag next to their name on that final lap? On that finishing totem pole of ours? I need to have a look at the results when they come up.
Nah, Steve does.
Copy that. Copy that. I know Steve Ball's got... I know that Steve's got the mechanical, Joe, but I thought I saw someone with a black next to their name that's already taken a checkered flag.
Might have been Tom, because he's just gone back to the pits.
Yeah, so Johnny Hugh's going to cross the line in 13th, just to add insult to injury. He finishes on pit road. No further action. Dylan Walker and Jordan Pianazzola in a spirited contest right through to the end. we've got Jordan standing by. Martin Davis on his way home. Oh, boy. What a night. What a night. We've lost Jordan Pianazzola. We'll get him back. There it is for you. Actually, Joe, I'm not sure we're going to be able to show that just yet, are we? Did Martin finish? No, Martin has finished.
Your qualifying numbers.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Dave Oliver, no time. Matt Schmidtke, no time. And obviously Travis Ozapati, no time because he watches from race control. There you have it. Stephen Bull by 0.033 of a second. Well, at least the one lap pace is well and truly there, Steve.
Yeah, I had a pretty good one in the wet, so I wasn't expecting to qualify that well, but got that bit right.
And Neely with 17th there, up 6 spots. 6 spots also gained for Jeff Adams. 13 for Dave Oliver. That won't count. Jordan Pianazzola gets biggest moves. Gained positions of the night, +9 and +7 for Dylan Walker as well. Racing incident on the last lap for you two blokes. And the gloves were well and truly off there, Jordan Pianazzola. That was fantastic.
Oh, I am sweating so much. That was one hell of a race. I thoroughly enjoyed every moment of that. That was great. I love the races here at Gentlemen's where they go from wet to dry or dry to wet. And I think whoever the forecast man is here just absolutely nailed it once again and put on a nice show for all of us weather-wise. But yeah, that was one hell of a race. I thought I was maybe going to hold Dylan at the end, but I screwed myself up down at Canada. He got through, and I was like, keep it on him. He might make a mistake. And yeah,
that's exactly right.
He's not going to make a mistake. He was too good there. I tried to keep the some of the hybrid and whatever for the end, but nah, that was great stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Unfortunately, though, yeah, you burnt your push to pass by that point, so you did exactly what Ethan did at Portland.
Yeah, well, I had tonight was my first night ever using the whole battery stuff. So a lot of the race I was just using that, and then I knew at the end, all right, let's start chewing up some of this push to pass, and I probably just chewed up that little bit too much. But again, it was first time using the whole battery stuff, so I was learning all of that. I actually only learnt like 6 laps in what I was actually doing, and then I was figuring out what lights said what all during the race and everything. So a lot to learn with this car, but yeah, still, that was fun.
Andrew Neal has departed. We say congratulations to him on actually surviving that. That was quite the show. He moved up 6 spots, finished 11th, and was only 15 seconds in the rear of Caleb Patterson in the end. But Morris, Walker, Pianazzola, can we just bring those results back up, Joe, just to remind everybody of how it all played out for the benefit of anybody just tuning in? The race results there for you. So, yes, Morris in first, Daylight in second, then Dylan Walker, Pianazzola, Angus Milne and Luke Page. And I mean that so sincerely. Like, that was an extraordinarily crushing performance in the end. Dave Oliver in for 6th, Nathan Michael 7th, Jeff Adams 8th, Tyson Broad 9th and 10th for Caleb Patterson, 11th for Andrew Neal, 12th for Adam Lavis, 13th for Tom Donahue. And whatever happened there, whether he had a penalty to serve or not, he's cleared that. Martin Davis in for 14th, 2.5 minutes down. And then Greg Heaney, a lap down. Leslie Reeves, 6 laps down. Joe De La Rosa, 7 laps down. All going to be classified because they saw the checkered flag. The only 2 retirements, Stephen Bull and our good mate Matt Schmidtke. And a bit like Neely in Indianapolis on Monday night, I don't think we'll be talking to Matty Schmidtke about IndyCar and Friday night. Oh, dear. Well, boy, oh boy, just extraordinary stuff. Jordan, stay there with me, mate. So too you, Stephen and Dylan. But I want to go to Ethan Morris. I want to bring him in at this particular point in time. Hang on. Caleb Peterson, no A in. Let me just have a look. Oh yes, no, copy that. Thank you, Peterson. That's a thing on my part. I've just had a look at that, and I've not picked up the right vowel, so apologies for that. However, Dave Oliver's here alongside me. New name for the clubs, so that's one of those ones. There's been a lot of new names this week, and very quickly you can not wrap your head around them. And then once you make the mistake once, it's very easy to make it second, 3, 4 times, and then anyway. let's push on. Very well done to you guys over there, by the way. The Kiwi contingent growing in spades on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and it's good to see. Now, we need to go to Ethan Morris, because if it wasn't already one hand on the title, it's probably 1.5 at this point. You just took the piss tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly didn't expect that to go how it did. Based off the quality, I'd done about 2 laps in the wet before this, because looking at the forecast, I figured, it's like a 12% chance of rain. I'll do a couple laps just in case, and we'll just see what happens. And then, of course, the roll of the dice, and I roll double ones, and of course, it's bucketing down. So, definitely not what I expected how things play out. But yeah, 100%. Like, I'm absolutely chuffed at how that race went. I think things couldn't have panned out as good as they did for me. The thing I'll be thinking now, I guess I'll be taking a look at the points. I'll be wondering if I'm able to wrap up the championship soon.
I'm looking at next week as match point number 1. And if not, then definitely WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca the week after. It's not lost on anybody now that you could very well go to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with no pressure on you whatsoever. And you can just lick the stamp and send it. Let me come back to you, mate. Dave Oliver, do you realise that if you're able to put a lap down in qualifying, even if it was, 18th on the grid and not representative of a competitive time, at least you would have set a number down and you would have got most positions gained tonight. But because you don't, it goes to, I believe it goes to our good mate Jordan Pianazzola.
Yeah, just knife me even harder.
I'll come back to you in just a moment. Oh dear. Ethan, I mean, we can sit here and talk about it being a 40-second winning margin, but what I really want to talk to you about is where you got brought back to the pack. Qualifying didn't go your way. You're not on the front row. It's very rare that we see either of those two things. You had to fight your way through the first couple of stints. But as I said to Joe, and as it played out, if the circuit dries at the right time, if the change of tyre comes at the right time, if the caution comes at the right time, and you're still in the mix, watch you tear it to shreds on a dry track. It was clear that you were more comfortable on dries tonight.
Yeah, Road America is a track I consider myself very strong at. So I think it was the lack of pace in the wet. I did in qualifying bungle my second lap, but even then the pace I was on, I was going to have to send it in those last few corners where I made an error and I got a off-track penalty in the second lap, so didn't count. And it just meant that, I think even if I had put together a really good lap in the qualifying, I still probably wouldn't have gotten pole. Stephen just put in a really, really strong lap there. I wasn't looking to get under 2 minutes, so I don't even know if I would have gained a spot or not. But overall, I was a bit like, oh, God, I hope it's not wet all the way through the race. And then, of course, we jumped to the race start and, what do you know? It's still raining a little bit and the track's super damp. I'm thinking, okay, here we go. What's the forecast like? I think at the start of the race, I was still, seeing the forecast saying it was 75% chance of rain for most of the hour. So I was thinking, okay, it'll just be full wets. See what happens, see how it plays out. And then, of course, the clouds just never showed up. Track dried out. And fortunately, that played right into my hands where, of course, I am very much more confident in the dry here because that's where my practice had gone. And so obviously, just played into a good hand. And I was sort of prepping for a bit of a fuel save, and I think it just worked out with the timing and the caution that I was already, well versed and knew exactly what I needed to do. I think the other guys maybe were still figuring things out as they went, which when it's on such thin margins as we were there, just meant that it all played towards me.
It certainly did, mate. And I mean, also, not that you would wish the mistakes and the misfortune of Stephen Ball and Tyson Broad and Tom Donahue, but in Tom's instance, he still made it to the end, but strategy caught him out, wasn't able to fuel save, etc. Incidents for Stephen Ball, Tyson Broad threw it off the road a couple of times. Those things happen, right? But you've got to take advantage of their misfortune on a night like this, and that is why the margin, the advantage you had at the end, ballooned out the way that it did.
Yeah, I felt like I knew pretty much it was in the bag the moment Tyson pitted in front of me the lap before I did at the end there. I did notice he was trying to save, I think, a little bit because he might have clocked on that he might have been able to make it, but I guess he just wasn't able to compensate back from when he was pushing at the start. But yeah, the moment he pitted, I was like, okay, it's just no risk. Just do your laps and just get to the end really, because well and truly, I mean, I think it was definitely said. I know, off this restart when we would switch to the dries, I saw Steven have a real moment in front of me through the kink, and I thought, well done to keep it together. But it was one of those things where I knew, it's sketchy. Just keep the nose clean, stay in the draft. I was saving fuel, so it made it a lot easier to just sort of avoid pushing. And so, yeah, obviously, as I was sort of saying, everything that, played out, every hand just went my way.
Everything that could go right and fall in your lap certainly bloody did. And now we know you don't mind the ovals either. So let's talk quickly. I'll come back to Road America in a moment, but let's talk quickly about Milwaukee and how you feel about that.
Yeah, it's a track that I haven't driven in a couple of years, but I am looking forward to it. So it's definitely one which, I think it'll be a hell of a race. Milwaukee's a really, really awesome oval and very different because of the fact that it's pretty much flat. So it's not going to be your sort of Nashville-esque racing, unfortunately, if that was sort of what you're expecting. But it's definitely going to be a very interesting race. It's going to be a lot about, just your confidence with the car. It's going to be a lot about confidence. And I think it's going to be more about tyres than fuel, I would expect, if it's going to be a daytime race.
Indeed. We'll get confirmation of that shortly, I'm sure. Then, of course, WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So we hop, skip and jump around the the United States for the next 3 weeks. We're looking forward to that. But can I take you back to tonight, 32 laps. We saw so many people tripped up by fuel strategy. For you, what was the winning formula, please?
It was pretty much doing 8 laps from the get-go, and the plan was, depending on where the safety car fell, whether I'd pit or not. And, obviously the wet conditions suddenly, threw a spanner in that works. But as the race started, but honestly, the fact where the safety car fell was pretty much spot on. I definitely would have been. I think everybody. There's a reason I think everybody switched to the dries on that stop, because I think everyone, whatever their next stop was, they were going to be switching. And so it just meant that it took, I guess, a little bit of that element out of like, do you jump people, by getting that sort of the transition spot on? It sort of equalized that part. But yeah, doing 8 laps for a stint from the start, a full push stint here for reference is 7 laps. So from the get-go, I knew, with the way the fuel saving would work, you weren't going to lose enough time to justify full pushing in my eyes, like never at any point really, unless the safety car came in late. So it was, I guess things played out in a fuel saving sense to plan for me. But yeah, it's mainly just knowing the fuel maps and just, doing your usual lift and coast. And at the end of the day, it helps you stay a bit safer in these sketchy conditions as well.
All right, very nicely done. Trucker, words fail me at this point. The dominance of this bloke, it's very Dench-esque when you think Porsches and GT3 going back a while. And I guess from our standpoint, it's going to be disappointing to see that there's no championship fight on grand final night. But at the same time, aren't we lucky that it is the Indianapolis 500 and it's a staple in the club in its own right, even if it was a standalone event?
Yeah, I mean, we had a finish there at Indianapolis maybe 2 years ago now that made the iRacing highlights with your glorious tonsils. It was fantastic. And I don't think we've had a bad race there. But, I mean, tonight, Ethan, early on, when it was raining, obviously the dominance that you've showed once the track dried out, and a couple of the guys sort of tripped themselves up in the changing conditions, making mistakes or pit lane errors or what have you. Were you worried at all early on that you wouldn't be able to close it out tonight, or did you have a game plan right from the start where you were probably hoping it was going to dry out, but it just seemed like the guys around you just fell off after that pit stop cycle and almost made it easy for you?
Yeah, I'll be lying if I said I was definitely thinking I was going to win it starting 5th. No, especially if it stayed wet the whole time. I wasn't feeling super confident because at the end of the day I just hadn't done any laps today. I was learning sort of as I went. I have very little experience at Road America in the wet, so I don't really know how the track dries, where the sort of standing water usually comes up, all that sort of stuff. So it was sort of trying to do practice almost in a sense, which I think sort of lent itself to why I was making passes at the start, yes, but that was largely off of errors from others. I wasn't pushing super aggressively, and in part, especially behind Tom there, I think I was behind him for probably what felt like forever. It was probably only about 4 or 5 laps, but sitting behind him there at the start when the track was wet, I couldn't see a damn thing. There's no rear flashing red lights behind him, or if there are, they weren't getting through the spray for me. So I was playing it very safe because I didn't want to sort of end up tripping myself up and taking him out, or ending up putting it in the fence. So yeah, it was mainly just sort of sit there. Yeah, as you can see, okay, there's a red light there. I was not seeing that.
Because I thought I'd jump back to like this is lap. What's this lap? On the second, I'll tell you. This is the first lap, and I'd even said to Zach, and Zach, remember, I jumped on board a couple of times there with some of the guys back further in the field, and it was just like, you can't see anything. It's crazy stuff, especially in an IndyCar. It's got the screen on it. You don't have wipers, and as we know, it's what we see on broadcast with these views is a lot different to like this view, for instance. Like the cockpit view, which we don't like using on broadcast, but obviously it's when you're in the moment. That first lap there, when the cars are all bunched up, it would have been damn near impossible to spot the car in front. So, yeah, great work there early on, out of your comfort zone, I guess, in the rain at a track that you're not familiar with. So would this probably go down as probably the most satisfying win of the season? Obviously, you had things stacked against you very early with the lack of practice on the wet track to come back with a 44 seconds worth of greedy win. Was it something like that at the end there? So
41.9.
41.9, there you go. So almost 42 seconds. That's crazy considering when the safety car actually came quite late to eke out that sort of a gap. But yeah, it must be pretty satisfying sort of with the start of the race you had to the end.
Yeah, easily most satisfying win of the season. I'm again not trying to gloat, but I think that actually ends up being the biggest win margin that I've had this season as well.
By a country mile. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking back to St. Pete, because there was a similar situation as St. Pete with the fuel save, where I just had a massive jump because other people were doing extra stops or weren't maintaining the pace that I was trying to save fuel. So, there you go. Tom's pit lane loss is 40 seconds.
Yep.
So, because of the fuel saving and getting it right, and I think, again, I was the only person to make that work, that's what's giving me the gap. But that's where a win like that to me is one of the most satisfying, because you've been able to do something that literally no one else was able to do in the race.
And as Tom Donahue has just confirmed, the net loss on pit lane was about 40 seconds at the moment. And bad luck to you as well, Tommy, because we were riding with you there. We were hoping you were able to get it home, but a stop on lap 31 kind of confirmed that you weren't going to be able to do just that. Angus Milne and he had the same idea, but they didn't execute the strategy. They miscounted. They miscalculated. See, that's the thing, Ethan, isn't it? And we talk about this all the time. The fact that you've got to be switched on in multiple different facets here. You've got to know, the way around the circuit, you've got to manage your way through the changeable track conditions, and the track never got back to fully dry tonight. Very lightly wet, sure, but never fully dry. And obviously there was a dry line through at a point that made it easier for you guys to transition over onto the slick rubber when you did. And it was very clear very quickly that was the right call to make. But when you've got to also think meticulously about the strategic element of it and, do your sums on the go, I don't think anybody that's foreign to motorsport has a great appreciation for just how difficult that can bloody well be.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot going on, especially, and unlike other series, all of our, overtaking aids are still here in the wet. So we still have push to pass. We still have the hybrid boost, all that sort of stuff. You're still managing that. And you're worried about, where are the puddles on the track? Where are you going? If you're in the spray, you probably can't see 5 meters in front of you. So you're guessing at that point. And then, being a one-man band, you're doing your strategy. You're keeping track of, you're doing fuel calcs. I assume there's no rule against texting and driving in sim racing, because otherwise I'd be penalised, because during that safety car, I was sitting behind Steven on the back straight with my phone out trying to do the numbers to figure out what my fuel number would be. That sort of stuff where you're trying to multitask because you're trying to keep track of everything. Though fortunately, the thing that does come back our way as drivers is that Road America does have its long straight. So you do have a bit of time if you're on your own that you can sort of, look at the black box and see, what are the gaps, what's my fuel looking like, that sort of stuff. It's not necessarily like you're always in the action, but certainly, in the wet, it's a challenge.
I was going to say, in saying all of that, the interesting thing for mine was last night we were getting messages from Alex Borgersrud whilst he was driving, whilst he was racing, and we didn't have any yellows in Formula V at VIR. Now, whether that was voice to text, I'm not sure. But I'd like to find out. Or maybe he's driving the Formula V one-handed. I'm not sure. The guy's a freak. But, yes, twice in as many nights, admission from these guys that they're multitasking on the go. I love it. I love it. Hey, well done, mate. That was a brilliant performance tonight. I'd love to see more of that wet weather racing. It was nice to have a varying element on the weather front, a slight change to the norm. We saw wet last week for quali and then bone dry for the race. But to have a mix and match race tonight, that was good fun.
Yeah, 100%. These conditions are what I figured we get last week. Based on the forecast. So yeah, the fact that we still got it in the end is great because yeah, this is the exact sort of race, which is just a hell of like, I think even if I had come fifth or gone backwards in the race, I still would have had a blast because it's just fun as doing these sorts of races in these conditions.
Indeed it is. All right, very nicely done. Who would you like to thank?
I think similar to Jordan earlier, I'll just give some props to Adam for setting up the forecast settings on this race, man. You've absolutely nailed it. This was awesome fun. Anything, like if there's a series like almost a Rainmaster-esque that the club would do in the future, where it's almost races like these all the time, I'd certainly be interested. Even if you switch cars each week or something.
Hell yeah.
All right, very nicely done. Congratulations, mate. Brilliant performance. Well done to the victor. Go the spoils. Go and enjoy that. And we'll have an update of the championship for you very shortly. I think you're going to like what you see.
Was he just suggesting we have like an Aquaman series, was he? Different car, different track every week, full of rain.
MtnMen, but with water. Yeah.
Interesting.
Along those lines, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's one of the more unique ideas that's been put forward on the platforms of the GSRC over the course of time. Very nicely done.
You can label it the Misty Mountain.
The Misty Mountain. There you go.
It's raining men.
Yeah. See, Dave, if only we were able to, right? If I want to come back and tackle a couple of things here, but if only we were able to contractually afford the bills to be able to play the music of the commercial world, that would be the theme song. Don't worry about that. It's raining MtnMen. Now, very nicely done. Looking forward to catching up with you next week, Ethan. That was brilliant tonight, mate. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Catch you later.
Great work, mate.
And I mean, take nothing away from anybody else, but when he's on the back foot there in the first stint and trying to fight his way through the field and then goes out and wins it by nearly 3/4 of a minute, Christ. It's a long shot for anybody else to get a leg in here as far as winning this championship is concerned. We'll have those points updates for you in just a moment, folks, and also for GT1. I just want to actually go back on the subject of music and other things. I've referenced Another One Bites the Dust far too much this week for the sake of it, because whenever someone's out the kitty, they're like, oh yeah, Another One Bites the Dust. It's been a song that's been getting a bit of a run on my Instagram story, as some of you will know. But the reality of the matter is, I'm going to cross-reference and I'm going to link it together with a point made by Thorn Weggett when I was breaking Dave's heart with regards to most positions gained, but you don't get it because you didn't set a lap down in qualifying. He said, Friday night, Zach is savage. I love it. If you ask a former, a sanctioning body that is a shadow of its former self in Australian motorsport at the moment, Thorn, they'd argue that I'm also savage on a Saturday, a Sunday, a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, and a Thursday at the moment as well. And in their case, they deserve every absolute uppercut they get. Dave, why weren't you able to put a lap down in qualifying, please? Mr. Oliver, are you home? No, he's gone. No, he's gone. FYI, yep. No, there we go. Go for it. Why didn't you put a lap down in quali, please?
Because the second last corner grass looked inviting.
So he tried to, and Trucker suspected that might have been the case. Did I also see correctly that you then started from pit lane?
Yes. Weirdly, Domino's fell in a weird, correct way by not qualifying, starting from the pits, deciding to stay out with 2 laps of fuel, or 2.5 laps of fuel left when the safety car came out. So yeah, interesting. And then spinning, losing 8 seconds on cold tyres, which would have put me second. So yeah, multiple daggers in my back tonight.
Dominoes falling. Where have I heard that before this week as well? Funny that everything's sort of, coming together in that regard. Talk me through the. Actually, no, I'll come back to you in a moment to get your take on the race itself, because you're on a different strategy to everybody else as well, and it was good to see you move your way up through the field. But let me go to Dylan Walker, because by gee, that looked like a hell of a lot of fun. At one point there, you were trying to nab third, then you threw it away. Then Nathan Michaels all of a sudden said, no, you can have it back because I'm going to pit lane. It was all happening there at one point or another in the final stint, and then all of a sudden you end up having a good duke out with Jordan Pianazzola.
Yeah. No, I made a comedy of errors tonight and somehow shook out in P2. So very, very happy with the result. Stuffed up the quali again. Had another 2 seconds up in the second lap, and then got a 1x, which is always lovely. And then got caught out with the safety car as well. That was probably the biggest thing. I had no fuel. And then the safety car got called that lap as I'm on the pit entry. So I had to pit. I got given an EOL. My push to torque wasn't working, so I couldn't, plead for mercy. And I was like third last on the restart. Somehow, some way, with everybody else falling off in front, made it to P2.
Indeed, but you got to take those lucky breaks when you can get them, mate. Hairy sort of race. I don't think too many people that might have only heard about the race after the fact or not caught all of it understands just how hard you guys had to work through the motions tonight. There wasn't too much opportunity to let your guard down, to take a break, to catch your breath. It was full on from first until last for a wide variety of different reasons, not least variable conditions, not least adjusting your dry weather driving line to make note or, remove yourself away from the edges of the circuit on the outside and the inside where the water was still sitting there very nicely waiting to trip anybody up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's obviously so much to do in these cars while it's dry, let alone in the wet as well. So with the drying track, you've obviously got to worry about where you're putting the car, but you've got your bars to worry about, your hybrid deploy, which I figured out this was the thing tonight, apparently, on the new Indycar, and your push to pass as well. So, really, really difficult to find where the limit was. Luckily, I ended up getting pretty close to that, overstepped it quite a few times, but pretty happy with the result.
And very, very nicely done. We were talking to you again this time last week, so you're starting to put some nice, solid results together. It's just a shame that we weren't able to see you a little bit earlier in the season. The reality of the matter is we've only got 3 weeks to go. How many of them do you reckon you'll be on the grid for?
I'll try my best to be there for the Indy 500, but it'll be pretty tricky to get to the most recent or the closest rounds, unfortunately. I'm not entirely sure what the go is with those ones, but I'll try to be on the grid as much as possible.
The interesting thing for mine is I want to get your take on what it's like going from the GT1 to the Indycar. You're not the only one in the field that's doing that, but same circuit tonight. That's obviously a difference that we haven't had, a similarity, a commonality that we haven't had all season. It's different to what we've had through the first 6 weeks, but 2 completely different cars and 2 completely different sets of weather conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. I arrive and drive for both series, so it's not like I did a bunch of practice and then got caught out by swapping car. Luckily with the wet, you actually hit the same braking markers in the IndyCar that you did in the GT1. So it was literally like driving the exact same car for the first part of the race at least. So that was pretty interesting. And then, going to the dries, obviously the IndyCar is just infinitely quicker. And just trying to relearn all the bars and everything, because again I haven't driven it since the hybrid update, so it's big change. But GT1s are just an absolutely awesome car to drive. It's a shame it's not more popular. I'd really like more people on the grid for that one, because it always puts on a good show.
Absolutely, it does. You know, Trucker would be on the grid if he wasn't producing the broadcast, of course. Sign him up for that every day of the week. Now, just going around the grounds very quickly, Dolphins 34 accounted for Eels 16 in Friday night NRL football. And at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, the Lions have put on a clinic over the Collingwood Magpies. 24-9, 153 to 15-6. 96. There is just about 38 seconds remaining in that game of football, and the Lions coming home with 4 points, and they're looking at a bye week next weekend. Then off to the Sydney Cricket Ground, where they'll probably smash an understrength Swans in the qualifying final, book a home prelim at the Gabba, and all of a sudden the run for a potential three-peat is back well and truly on track for them. Dylan, let me ask you about this one too, because and I say that as a Sydney supporter too, by the way, it's not going to end well this season, given the recent events of this week, which I won't be making any further comment on. There's just some things we leave well and truly alone here on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, and that is one of them. I'll talk about any other political issue any day of the week, especially when it comes to motorsport politics, as you know. But let's talk about this, Dylan. The interesting thing for mine out of tonight was that cracking last couple of laps scrap with you and Jordan. I want to get your thoughts on something else in a moment, but let's talk about that, because Jordan drove pretty well. You know, you had to earn your stripes there to get through, and I think the fact that he ended up burning his push to pass a little bit too quickly really helped you out in the end.
Yeah, good to know that he used his push to pass too, because I think I had about 13 seconds when I got to the back of him. So it was a really good race. Didn't do it in the cleanest of fashions. Hit the puddle at the apex of turn 1 and gave him a wheel bang. So sorry about that. But yeah, the rest of it was really, really good. Caught him down at the end there. I'm not sure if you took tyres in the final stop. I ended up staying on the same set. There you go. Stayed on the same set to keep the temps in it. But it was pretty interesting to see how many people stayed on, used the alts instead of the primes. The primes felt really good in the changing conditions. So I think it was actually the quicker tyre in this race. So that was quite interesting as well.
Indeed. Hey, just by the way, just when you thought it couldn't get any worse for Collingwood, Brisbane punted another goal through after the siren, 25-9 to 15-6. The final score there, Lions by 63 points on a massive Friday night for them. Now, you mentioned arrive and drive there earlier, and this is something we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. I'm more interested in the take of you guys on this than ever before, because words filtering through from various different sources, drivers within our club, drivers that do their work externally as well as internally, be it as a commentator or as a competitor. The days of the arrive and drive, in some aspects, it feels as though that's very much on the way out. But I get it. When it's club racing, when it's only league racing, when it's, last-minute arrangements and work getting in the way and other things, arrive and drive is still, a very solid way to go racing and very acceptable way to do it. But I'm sure it would come with its potential trip hazards. But would you argue that there's been more of a move away in some respects, in some disciplines? Because obviously there's a wide variety of different competitions that we stage each and every season. There's a wide variety of different categories, mate. But would you agree that the arrive and drive days for some are a thing of the past?
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to personal preference, right? If you're chasing the results, practice is obviously going to put you further up. Look, I've just been arriving and driving this season and most of the rounds just to, have a dip, have a bit of fun, and it's all a mindset thing as well. If I was gunning for a championship, 100%, I'd be putting a lot of time and practice in, and I mean, no shade at those guys. They're getting the results. I mean, Ethan tonight is a great example of that with how dominant he was. But it's I'm more here for a good time, and shaking out with a result like this definitely wasn't expected, and nor should it be with just arriving and driving like that.
That's exactly right. Right. What does the next couple of weeks look like for Dylan Walker?
Going to be having a dip at the Phillip Island 6-hour in a couple of weekends, hosted by PRNZ. So that'll be really cool. And then probably Supercars, P Cup, and this again next week if time allows. And hopefully, as we spoke on Wednesday, you can put the mocker on Tyson and Will for that one for us, please.
Oh, very nicely done. You know what? I'm a little bit filthy, gentlemen. I was just having a look through the TV week, trying to plan my weekend, and the Sydney Swans AFL game on Sunday is not. And I repeat, is not the television game on the 7 network. Instead, we are getting West Coast and Hawthorn at 7 p.m. on Sunday night. So I'm going to have to persevere with Fox Footy for that one. That's a little bit disappointing. You mentioned the Phillip Island 6-hour. Is there a way that we can get around that and tune in?
I believe it's being broadcast on SimSpeed. If you go to prnz.racing, you'll be able to have a look at the sign-ups as well. I believe they're closing soon. So if you are keen for that,
there you go.
Sign up now.
Now, there's a second admission here from me because we've got in XL Racing in these parts, and he's doing some other things as well. We've got a Caleb Patterson, so hence why I've been getting Caleb Patterson and Caleb Peterson mixed up. I've been taking the wrong vowels throughout the course of the night. But you said PRNZ, and I see PRNZ right next to Caleb's name there. So there's a nice little link between them and obviously what's coming up. That's good to see. The sim racing community very, very strong at the moment, and there's some good rapport between many different leagues and many different operations. So that is nice to see. Well done tonight. Hopefully we're looking forward to seeing you for Indianapolis, and hopefully you'll get another dabble in GT1 between now and the end of the term as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the plan, mate. Thanks for having us. Really appreciate you guys putting on the show every week, and big shout out to the boys in the stewards box as well.
What gave you the hint that you were off the hook? I haven't even asked Joe if he wanted to ask you a question yet.
Oh, my bad.
No. Joe?
You seem to, Zach sort of touched on it, you seem to transition well from like car to car to car, and I think I've seen you in supercar and different things. Do you put a lot of practice in? Because, I mean, I love driving the Indycar and I love driving the GT1 car, but in my brain, I think to go fast back to back between the GT1 and this, it almost break my head. Do you jump between different cars and practice on the day, or you just do the drive and arrive and drive and just wing it as you go? Or how do you pack in the practice to get up the front sort of with just about everything that you do?
Well, I've been sim racing for quite a while. I think about 10 years coming up soon. So got a lot of experience. Obviously, I'm doing scops in the supercar as well. So I've been putting a lot of time in for that. But I think the last time I drove the Indycar was AOG Fixed Indy Australia, like a few years ago now. So I haven't touched it in a long time. As I was telling Zach, it's mostly just arriving and driving. So just having a get where I can, and then just leaning on the amount of seat time that I've got in the sim. Once you kind of learn a car, you can get to a pretty good base level quite quickly. And it's just finding that extra like 5-10% to get right up the pointy end. That's the hard part.
I guess that comes down to imagine if you practice sort of line, you know, it's I know I'd love to have a lot more time to get in and practice certain cars, and I've given up on the new supercar. I don't know how you guys drive it. Honest to Christ, like I've had a few cracks at it now, and I don't even bother. I do not even bother with the last gen supercar. Loved it. Good. This current thing now, it's I feel like Will Brown. Yeah,
I feel like the old one was way too on the nose. Like you were trying to drive it, and it just felt really, really on the nose. At least this one, you got. I mean,
it's very pointy.
Grip. Exactly. The new one's got no lateral grip, which is the trouble. So I think a mix between the two would be good. But
it's interesting though, right? Isn't it, Trucko? It's interesting, and I'll go back to you and Dylan on this. It's interesting because we're having the same conversation on a Thursday night, on a Wednesday night about the Porsche at the moment. There seems to be a lot of people just struggling to wrap their head around the thing. and they're infuriated by the Challenger driving the thing, but they're persevering with it because they know that that's where the who's who in the zoo are, plying their trade, so to speak. But horses for courses, right? There's always going to be 6 of one, half dozen of the other. There's going to be people that like the Gen 3, and then people saying, can we hit the undo button? Can we go back to what we had? And it's the same with the Porsche, and I think everybody's in unison with regards to the way Formula One's operating at the moment as well. Dylan, your thoughts?
I mean, look, you're always going to have people who don't like change.
Skeptics.
And that's more than fair. But especially with the sim stuff, you put so much time into learning a car and figuring it out and building all your setups and everything like that. I think half the frustration is trying to relearn the car. Because I know with the Gen 2, back when I drove for Orbit many moons ago, that thing was figured out. We had a setup for like every track, and we had hot-cold setups for that thing. So it was like you just plug and play, and you're sort of driving it. I think with the new car, again, you just got to put that time in, relearn it, rebuild your setup repository, and then find the little tricks. Because there were those little tricks with the Gen 2 car that not all the teams knew, and I think part of the frustration is not being able to get back to where you were competitively, because you haven't got that backlog of experience and knowledge. So I'd say, had you not driven the old car and we just had the Gen 2s from the start, I don't think anyone would be complaining. But again, I mean, everyone was complaining about the Gen 2 and how shit the Gen 2 was compared to the previous generation, the Gen 1s. So, you're always going to have your detractors for everything. It's just, you got to just buckle up and drive them, I suppose.
Trucker?
Yeah, so and I get what you say, like the 2012 Supercar, that thing was a hunk of junk.
I think our good mate Chris Whitaker labelled it the Ford POS, did he not?
Yeah. Look, I'm a Ford guy, and even I hated that bloody thing. It was terrible to drive. But the next generation, I didn't mind that one. But the Gen 2, like the Supercar prior to this one, I struggled when that first came out, but I ended up learning how to drive it, like to the best of my ability, which isn't that much in a supercar. But the Gen 3 is so different, and you're right in saying, like, generally when cars go up a generation, sometimes you look back with rose-coloured glasses to the old one. And I remember when the 991 was the car of choice, like, everyone was bitching about it. Oh, we can't wait for the 992. And then the 992 come out, and all anyone complained about with that one was the tail lights on it, because you couldn't bloody see them when it was raining. They introduced the rain, you couldn't see them. And, and that was hard to get used to. But then you go back and you drive the 991, and it's a brilliant bloody car to drive. We had it at the mountain a few weeks ago, I think, or a couple of months ago, whatever. And I went and did the setup laps for it. And it was awesome to drive. It actually drove like a car, whereas this current 992.2 thing, I know I've seen, like, on the official side, the class went to chaos just because I think it was too much like a GT3 car. I guess is probably my point there. That when they added the traction control and the braking, anti-lock braking and all that sort of stuff to it, I think it ruined the essence of what the class was. And it was such a departure from where the Porsche Cup driving style had evolved from the 991 to the 992, whereas that leap with the supercar, I think from the Gen 2 to the Gen 3, like you say, that lateral grip difference was just like, I'm awesome in it in a straight line. There's no problem, but as soon as you get to corners, I can't turn the bloody thing. Just trying to find that I guess that line between being just over the apex speed and running wide on every corner, which is what I tend to do. Yet I watch guys like you that are in front of me and carrying 10, 15k an hour more at the apex, and my head breaks trying to work out how you do it. But it's, when you look back at cars like the Vs and stuff, when they first come out, they were so different to what preceded it with the Skip Barbers, and then you had the Formula Ford and the Vs, and obviously a lot of, like, I managed to step into the Vs and was reasonably fast, but that transition from like the Skippies and the Renault 2.0 and that sort of stuff. But as the sims evolved, I think the cars have gotten harder to drive. I don't know whether or not that's something that iRacing's trying to push, is making the cars more difficult, because it seems like everything that comes along that's newer is always exponentially harder to drive. Is that something that you've seen sort of not only just with the supercar, but obviously the Porsche's doing it? I think GT3s are getting harder to drive every time they like go to a new season and bring in new cars and retire old ones. And you go back to the old M3 GT3, which was a staple for iRacing, and that thing's a blast to drive, but it's about 4 seconds lap slower around the mountain than what the current GT3 car is. But it was a lot easier and more fun to drive. Do you think that's probably where they've tried to go with the Gen 3 and bring it closer to real life car, or what's your thoughts on that one, Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, the Gen 2 was never realistic in the way that it drove. I mean, to quote
I'd agree.
Stenberg, there's no way of effing race car drives like this. So,
who was that, sorry?
Stenny, Kurt Stenberg.
Kurt Stenberg, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's a legend. Yeah, I mean...
And I think Crompo said the same thing, didn't he?
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I mean, like, they're bringing the sim closer and closer to the real world. They're obviously getting a lot more driver feedback now. I think the Gen 3 is closer to the real car than the Gen 2 ever was to its real world equivalent. And same with the 991. That thing was way too quick for what it was in real life as well, I believe.
Yeah.
So I think bringing it closer to the real world is obviously going to make it harder. As much as we sit on the couch and watch the guys driving and complain when they have a poor result, they're exponentially better than any of us in the sim. So, like, the cars are going to be hard to drive. They're paid to drive difficult cars. If it was easy, we could do it. But I like the challenge. I don't mind the challenge. I think there's two schools of thought in how you go racing. If you drive a difficult car, it produces a race like this, where you've got, the talent coming to the front and, Ethan absolutely storming away with it. But like in your 86s or your Formula Bs or something like that, where they are more accessible, you get the closer door-to-door racing. So I'm more a fan of this style, where you really need to wrangle the car around. Hence why I'm driving both of the cars that are in the controversy at the moment, I suppose. But yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to drive what you're given. Complaining about it's not going to really do anything. And yeah, iRacing has never been 100% spot on with their tires. I mean, you just got to look at like LMU, for example. They're obviously a little bit more advanced, but it is a sim. You choose to drive this sim. I really enjoy the way that everything feels on iRacing, and I think it is pretty close to reality, but it's those final little parts that, the drivers need to like sort of confirm and get across. And again, the trouble with that is you've got all the car setups and all the different like hardware differences as well. So if you hand like Will Brown the keys to like an iRacing supercar and he says, yeah, it's Min, and then you get on your G920, it's going to be, nowhere
completely
near.
different.
So
Correct.
it's trying to get that dialed in for them is like they're batting 1,000. So it'd be really difficult.
I can even tell you, if I go back and forwards, I've got the Myra app for. I've got a SimiCube 2 base and I use the Myra program, that Marvin's awesome iRacing app. I turn that off now and use iRacing force feedback, and it just feels blunted, like the game's got an IQ of 5. Yeah, you put the Myra on, the amount of detail that you get back through the wheel. It's like chalk and cheese, two different sims as far as the steering goes for myself. But I know what you mean. Like having better gear certainly helps, and I guess I probably should just for me, if I want to try the V8, to actually put in some laps, I suppose. So a little bit of coaching maybe if you want a job doing.
No, I'm not that good. Don't get Ethan to coach you, mate.
I like it. I like it. Hey, can I just put two things on the record here before we go any further? And this has nothing to do with the cricket or anything like that whatsoever. I just want to put it on the record that my esteemed colleague here said to me about 3 hours ago, actually it would have been 3.5 hours ago now, that he was of the belief that he'd fall asleep 40 seconds after the checkered flag tonight. Where are we now? We're about an hour post-race, and Joe's in fine form. He's flying on all cylinders. But the other point as well in all of that is coming soon to the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club near you, ladies and gentlemen. Based on what Trucker was just saying, keep an eye out for the GSRC iRacing Drag Racing Championship because he hasn't got a problem with the Porsche in a straight line. So if it's just over the quarter mile, I think you'd sign up for that, Trucker.
Yeah, I'm up for that one. And there's actually a drag track in the game. I don't call it a game.
There you go. No. That's
in the sim. We've got to go to. God, that title I can't think of it.
Portland and Hockenheim both have a drag track.
Yeah,
I think.
Portland, Hockenheim, and Sonoma.
Yep.
And actually, Winton's got a drag track as well.
We're not going to that hunk of junk at the moment until they sort their SH1T out.
They certainly have to do that.
They absolutely have to do that. And don't say I didn't warn anybody. They should have been looking to do that 3 years earlier, and then they probably would have avoided being in the complete and utter mess that they're in at the moment. But that's okay. Lesson learnt, albeit the hard way. More on that based on some views that have come into my inbox that are not publishable at the moment for you blokes when we get off the record, of course. I think you guys have answered that pretty well, but Stephen Bull's still here and Jordan Pianazola's still here. Have you two got anything to add to that before we move on?
I did want to ask Dylan, what colour are your underwear after the moment on lap 18 on the back straight?
We're going down that gutter level, ladies and gentlemen. Strap in. This is going to be fun. Go for it, Dylan. Have you got an answer for that? This was straight after the caution, wasn't it? Yes. There was a moment. Yes.
We can't hear you, Dylan.
Oh, we just missed it.
It's just
there we go. We got you now.
If it's what I think it was, and it's coming into Canada, and
that's the one.
Yeah, I had it all locked up because I got everybody checked up in front. I don't know how I missed. Was it you that I went flying past?
No. Bull had a crash, and I was going alongside Adam Laves, and then Bull got cleaned up by Adam, and then just in all of that check up from there, Dylan, you nearly went into the back of, I think it was Jeff Adams.
Yeah, right. I know I dived right and had it all locked up trying to avoid him.
That was a moment
my intention, but they rolled out a little bit earlier than I thought they would have. But no, it's all right. All worked out in the end. I mean, can't complain.
Here it is, right here.
But
hang on.
I think this is it. I think
Here, that was Martin Davis. Yeah, there were a couple of moments happening all over the place. That was Tyson Broad.
It was lap 18.
Yeah, I think we might be coming up to it now.
Yeah.
This was the restart lap for the benefit of those of you. Lap. I'm just trying to think. Lap 18, was that the restart lap or was it one or two after?
Yeah, lap 13.
Yeah. Keep an eye out for that, folks. We'll have a look if we can find it.
It is lap 18 coming into Canada.
Going into Canada. Lap 18 going into Canada.
Yeah, it was lap 18, but 16 was the restart.
16 was the restart, so it's 2 laps after all the carnage. They wiped out poor old Adam Lavis and Stephen Bull and a few others. Let's have a look.
From memory, I was trying to get it pulled up, and then the car in front moved to the right, so I had to get on the wet stuff to not drill him.
As you do.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously he's seeing me coming in quick, but if he stayed where he was, I think it would have been. I would have got it pulled up, but yeah, I mean. Managed not to hit anything somehow, but dropped right to the back again, which is no good.
Oh dear. All right. Anything else to add to that, boys, before we move on? All right. Dylan Walker thought he was getting released about 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes even. But you've been very good with your time, mate. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Have a good night, eh? Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, all the boys at Momentum and our sponsors as well, JVRE Engineering, P1 Docs, and Metabus as well. Big shout out to the PRNZ boys and what they're doing in the coming weekends, and to Caleb as well for his first PRNZ race. I think he got a top 10, so very well done to him.
He certainly did. He did well. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Just another hairy moment there at the end of the main straight as well. It was a night full of them. There's no doubt about that. Stephen Bull, I think we're putting the championship to one side right now. How do you feel about the pressure being off in that regard and just trying to finish the season with some sort of momentum and trying to salvage as best a result as you can when we start the run to home with Milwaukee next week?
Pressure was already off. I think we all knew where this championship was going. I'm really just
true
to try and take a few wins away. I think best I've done in the season's 8 wins, and don't want to let him take more than that. So got at least one more to take this season. As for the upcoming rounds, I think we're all looking forward to Laguna. It's a classic Indycar track. I think that's going to go well. I'm going to have to make a purchase for next week. I don't have the oval there, so that's going to be a bit of a learning experience. And then Indy will be my first proper Indy race at Indy, so that'll be good fun.
Excellent. We're very excited about the Indy week. We cannot wait for that. Full flight on Friday. Oh, jeez, there it was. Oh, no. Full flight on Friday, September 11 from 8:45 Eastern Standard Time for you right here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And, of course, that will be the second to last Friday night of the term, of the season, of the year, calendar year in which I should say. It'll be the last of the term, but then we get a 2-week break. And then we get one more Friday night, October 2, in which you'll be referring to broadcast times in AEST. And then we go into that progressive and civilised concept known as daylight saving, ladies and gentlemen. So you can tick progressive and civilised off your bingo card at about 10:52 on a Friday night. Very nicely done. Thank you to you, Stephen Bull. You've hung around far longer than I expected you to, but well done. Bad luck. It was looking good from the outset there. You had good pace. You had good rhythm. Unfortunately, just a little bit of wet water on the grass and slick tyres. Ultra bad combination, especially at that part of the circuit, because it was wetter than most with the tree coverage and all that sort of stuff. It made life a little bit difficult. Unfortunate way for it to end, but onwards and upwards for the remaining 3 weeks, mate.
Yeah, I think the win was on. I knew what I did
Absolutely.
for the save at the end there, but it is what it is. Bit of silly driving, so trying to avoid that on the ovals.
Well, that's exactly right. Let's hope you're able to do so. Although that being said, we know what the ovals are like. There ain't much room for error around there. Someone will eat the concrete at some point next week, I am sure. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Who would you like to thank?
All the guys at the GSRC and Zeus for this round.
Beautifully done. All right. There he is, Stephen Bull. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Jordan and Dave, I'll finish with you two boys. Bully, feel free to stick around for the post-race, post-broadcast show if you wish. I'm sure you'll get your value for money out of that. Jordan didn't last night. He decided to get out while he still could.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it again.
No, I thought that might be the case. Dave Oliver and I got plenty to chew the fat on, though. But finishing with you two in an on-air capacity, and I want to get everybody out of here because I didn't think we'd be here till 11 o'clock. There's a lot to talk about because you did the double tonight. Dave Oliver, you were just saddling up for the Indycar. Road America, it's hard to say no to that when the calendar is announced, you know the schedule, and you know that Road America's on the horizon. It's a dangling carrot that's just too tempting, isn't it? That's if Dave's there. Hello?
Oh, sorry. I thought
there he is. Yeah. I'll go to him in a moment. I want to go to you first.
He leaves me last.
Yeah, I don't know. Road America is a little hit and miss for me. Just depends on the car. Usually in the Indy car, it's pretty good. GT3s, it's usually pretty good. But yeah, it's just unfortunate I didn't get a quality lap in. But you never know. That might have actually saved my bacon. So because I had a heap of clear air and was just able to kind of get into the groove with the wet.
Couple of varying strategies in the mix there, yours included, but in the end it worked.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. I had, I think the very first stop was only a few laps in, and I'd got past Heaney, and then I'd locked up going into, I think it's Canada Corner, the right-hander, and then I was just like, oh, I've got, you know, I may as well just come in now, and then at least then I'm off strategy, and, you know, just kind of go for it from there, and then, you know, then kind of reassess once you, you know, get the safety car. And yeah, kind of did that, and then I think, I can't remember, it was like around the middle of the race kind of thing, when they just before the safety car came out, you could kind of see a line forming, and I wasn't too sure exactly if it was going to be Slick's territory yet. It just seemed a little bit too wet still, and yeah, and then once the safety car came out, we ended up getting caught behind one of the guys that was like running out of fuel, and it was a case of like, at one point I didn't even think we were gonna like catch up to the back of the train. We were nearly saying, do you need to stop, kind of thing, to like let us through. He was going that slow, and by the time we came around the last corner, like you could just see the train going into the pits. And then I was about to go in, and I'm like, oh, I'll stuff it, I'll do something different. And I think I had about two and 3/4 laps of fuel left. So I'm like, oh, stuff it, try something different, and then kind of, you know, just go out and blast for 2 laps. And kind of see what happens. Like, you know, you could see on the first lap from that restart, I was able to kind of pull away, because, you know, the tyres were still warm, and everyone else was still on kind of semi-warm, cold slicks. But by the time that second lap before I pitted, the real quick alien slick guys had turned them on, and was like, or 1 or 2 had got past. So, but then other than that, I think by doing that, it ended up actually putting me on the correct laps home. So when I came to my last stop, it was just 7 laps. But unfortunately, I ended up spinning, as you saw, and that cost me at least 7-8 seconds. Then plus I redressed with Nathan Michael and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, I just wish I could get on the radio and go, bro, I'm on an alternate strategy. Don't fight me this hard. like I know it's a race and you can, you know, fight for positions and stuff. It's kind of like, just let me through. But yeah, in the end, it was came up all right. Just a bit of a shame, you know, 1 or 2 things went the wrong way, because I could have, you know, coulda, woulda, shoulda. You know, there was the potential there for a second. So.
Indeed. Will we see you in the Indycar the remaining 3 weeks, mate? Milwaukee next stop. What are your thoughts?
Not too sure yet. Just depends on how things go. I think I might end up having to potentially be at S&P the next 2 weeks. I think. Oh yes. Potentially for muscle car. Maybe just for the Fridays. It just depends on what the schedule's like. You know, ARDC haven't released that yet, so.
What a surprise!
If I'm home, I'll give it a crack. If not, obviously I can't. And and then the next week I've got World Time Attack, so that will be off. And and then hopefully might be around for, I think the final. The final race will be the Indy race. So I'll see if I'm around for that.
Very nicely done. Of course, World Time Attack, Muscle Car Masters. Muscle Car Masters you'll see live on the telly via Fox KO and SBS. Good news to report that the High-Tech Oil Super Series is on its way back as well to the telly. It's just going to be under a different sanctioning body. No surprise there, and that'll be at the end of September. So AFL Grand Final weekend just got a little bit bigger, but looking forward to that. Very nicely done, Dave. Good to catch up with you. Hopefully we'll catch up with you in the commentary box on Monday night. Suzuka, I'm looking forward to that, GT3.
Yeah, we'll see how we go, and hopefully it might, you never know, might be a bit of rain there, but you never know.
You never know, indeed. Actually, by the way, just generally a comment from, I know Stephen's still here as well, so a comment from all three of you if you wish. Nice to actually go out and do some racing laps in the rain for once.
Yep, I love it.
Because we only qualified in the rain last week, Dave.
Yeah, true. And it wasn't as wet as it was tonight. It was a lot wetter than last week. And then, then this race, tonight it was, call it, 50% wetness, where it was like 2/3 wet in quali. So there's a lot more puddles around. And then, I was actually happy that the way that it went, like we were able to kind of get a dry line form and then, transfer across to slicks. But yeah, it's good to actually have a crack in these and actually handle and feel, pretty nice in the wet. Like, I still reckon these are probably one of the best driving handling cars in iRacing.
All right, very nicely done. Good to get your thoughts on that, Stephen. Anything to add to that?
I got to say the same thing that I think it was saying partway through the race there. These are some of the best cars in the wet. They work so well with it. Heaps of fun. Bring on more of it.
Bring on more of it, indeed. We're very excited about what's to come there. Boys, appreciate your time and your efforts as always. Oh, look out, Andrew Neal's back in the house as well. So I guess we better get some final thoughts from you on what you made of that 65 minutes as well, please.
What a blast.
More of it?
When it was wet. What's that?
More of it for you? More IndyCar in the future?
I'll have to work out what the tyre compounds are first, I think. Yeah. Let me do a bit of reading.
Yeah, just watch me push Neely's teammate.
I like it. Yeah, watch this. Yeah, exactly. Oh, dear.
I did work out that I had a push to pass button about 3/4 of the way through the race, which was good.
Oh, very good. So you're one of those people that didn't have...
Bradbury.
Exactly. You didn't burn too much of your push to pass, did you?
I did by the end, but not at the start.
No. Oh, dear. Excellent stuff. Hey, well done. Appreciate that. Jordan, I think we'll pull up stumps here in just a few moments, do some championship point standings, updates, etc. But I can't let you go without some comments on GT1 and what you made of 40 minutes around Road America and that, please.
Quite fun. I enjoyed having some of my battles with one of my old karting mates, Come and Eddie. But no, it's enjoyable. And then Road America, I've said it's probably not one of my favorites, but it's a track that does normally, and would probably want to say always, produces good racing. Like, it's very much like a racing circuit, where some other tracks are just it's just a circuit, you can't do much around them. But yeah, this always invites really good racing, and I've enjoyed quite a lot around here, but it's probably not one of my favorites. But yeah, GT1s was alright. It's just unfortunate I rocked up a little bit too late, and then unfortunately couldn't get a quali time in. I got in the sim when there was, I think, 1:15 left in qualifying, so it was just get in, get driving, and learn what I got to do on the fly.
Get in, get driving, get out. I like it. I like it very much indeed. Anything else to add from any of you boys? Anyone else you want to thank, etc.?
I'll just go on to say that the IndyCars was great. I enjoyed that. Another podium for me in GSRC, but yeah, first one in IndyCar, so that was really good to be able to kind of hang with some of those faster guys like Donahue and I mean, no one can hang with Morris, but I was looking at the relative and it wasn't really expanding that much, so maybe if we run back another season of these, I'll be able to do better, especially with learning some of the stuff. But it's been great fun, and just thanks to all of the skid marks in racing boys, 116 works guys as well, Matt's unsafe safe space, and then Peter Malinascus and all of that stuff that I say.
You're going down the Sam Chapman way of making sure you look after your dear leaders over there in the in the People's Democratic Republic of South Australia. Very nicely done. Excellent stuff. And on that subject, Joe Baldwin's out of the room for the moment, so I can't bring up point standings or anything else like that on the screen. But what I can do is run you through what's coming up this weekend. It is an enormous weekend of sport for those of you that have nothing else to do but park your ass on the lounge and put the feet up and relax. Fill the esky, ladies and gentlemen. 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. Oh, trucker's back. There we go. 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. Second test, day one, Australia and Bangladesh play from 10 o'clock. You'll see it on 7 and 7, mate, right around Australia. Live Golf continues from Indianapolis. The Saturday Arvo racing on the screens is 7 as well. The AFL, the AFLW, the NRLW, the NRL. The EPL is back tomorrow morning, 4 a.m. Arsenal in action actually up against Coventry. You'll see that on Stan Sport right around Australia. Kick off at 5 o'clock. Big match tomorrow night as well. Hull up against Manchester United, getting us underway there. And of course, there's some taxi racing going on out at the Paperclip as well. So if you're going to watch that, go your hardest. My interest will be Sunday morning, first test rugby union. Republic of South Africa up against New Zealand. That'll be good fun. First of a 4-match series between those two teams. Normally it's a Tri-Nations or a Rugby Championship 4 Nations. No, just a straightforward 4-test match series between South Africa and New Zealand starting this weekend. You'll see that on Stan Sport as well. I've mentioned just about everything else, but I need to mention the big three. NASCAR from New Hampshire Monday morning, Lee Diffie commentating that. Indycar, the American Freedom 250, and that's 250 miles of the Washington Street Circuit. They're going to earn their stripes there, 250 miles, if you don't mind. That's 400 kilometres of street racing for them. One of the longest street races you'll ever see in Indycar, and that is coming up 1:30 a.m. on Monday morning. And, of course, before that, the Dutch Formula One Grand Prix lights out 11 o'clock on Sunday night. The sprint, 8 o'clock tomorrow night, qualifying from midnight. If you're an IMSA fan, they're off to VIR. We've had some fun with VIR this season. They're heading there on Monday morning at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, of course, as I said, the cricket continues right through until the early hours of Wednesday. And, of course, US Open mixed doubles, if you don't mind, as well, getting underway on Wednesday morning. Have a great night and weekend, everybody. See you Monday. Ciao, says Jordan Pianazzola. He could have said that in here. He was in here until about 3 seconds ago, but that's all right. US Open mixed doubles getting the US Open underway because they play the mixed doubles as a 2-day affair before the main tournament proper. That gets underway next week, so we're in a really good purple patch of great sporting events right here and now. Here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, we do it with thanks to Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrc.com, Flash Graphics and Disruptive Labs. Championship points, let's update them for you now. The GT1 Civil War, being led by Andrew Dyson at the moment, 522 plays. Adam Funslow, 439, 425 for Brendan Grosh. Thomas Sinner on 411 and Adam Lavis, 408. Richard Brookfield, 398. Jordan Pianazzola, 388. Martin Davis, 360. Nathan Michael, 353. And Doug Gowans, 342. Dyson continues to lead the way despite taking the half points tonight and does so quite comfortably. What's that? 83 points the advantage at the moment at the top of the points table. The top 10 covered by 180. So it's really, really tight beyond that with all the way back to Dougie Gowans, just 97 points covering second and 10th. And again, a domination of Aston's at the top of the points table. 7 in the top 8. A lockout of the top 5. They're tearing it to shreds at the moment. Indycar, well, speaking of tearing it to shreds, I actually thought it would be a lot bigger than that. But it's not. It's still round on us tonight. Second, of course, to Jordan Pianazzola. Third to Dylan Walker in terms of the round points, despite the race results being different. The difference being clean races, positions gained, etc. The positions gained getting Jordan the bonus points there. Morris's advantage is 96 over Tom Donahue, Stephen Bull 443, and then Angus Milne on 425. So that battle for second is spicy. 29 covers the three of them. 419 for Luke Page, 411 for Adam Lavis, 390 for Jordan Pianazola, 384 for Martin Davis. Joe De La Rosa on 355. Greg Heaney 346. 204 points covers the top 10 at the moment. Final thoughts from you, Trucker?
We probably should have a look at what's coming up next week.
Well, I was about to do that, but I was hoping you might have something to add to it. But that's all right. No, we're going to wrap up and get out of here, are we?
I'm getting dozy.
Joe's got his pillow at the ready. There's a look at what's coming your way. We did spin the wheel earlier. Euro NASCAR, isn't it? Tomorrow night, Euro NASCAR for the MtnMen. 32-lap excursion around Mount Panorama Bathurst, 200 kilometres, and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when all of that gets underway. Good luck to all and sundry. Monday night, final sprint round of the waste options, wings and slicks, Formula Renault 3.5 offering. That is coming to you from COTA. Yep, COTA, not Coat. As we've referenced other people this week, COTA. And that is 2 sprint races, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look at me throwing shade at 11:10 on a Friday night. Is there any other better time to do it? Funny story regarding that very shortly for those of you that are sticking around. 2 sprint races, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Then on to Suzuka. We're going Oriental on Monday night. We've got Suzuka twice next week. Bronze split, GT3, 60-minute race, final 60-minute race of the campaign. Final look at the bronze split for this campaign as well. Adam Lavis and Dave Oliver with me for that. Committee choice Tuesday night, the SCCA Spec Racer Ford. And that is from the Adelaide Parkland Street Circuit. The server underway from 7 p.m. and, of course, the racing to follow. That will be a 3-sprint race format with a full reverse grid final, if you don't mind. Thanks very much for coming, ladies and gentlemen. Wednesday night, no idea who the bloody hell's here, because I'm not, and Neely's away on assignment elsewhere. He's off fishing. Apparently, he'd stitched a few committee members up by giving them the wrong dates. At least he told me what was going on correctly. Suzuka, the first stop. Now, we got stitched up with this last week as well, so I'm going to be double-checking that one. I think it's sprint racing next week for the merch.tgsrci.com BMW M Sport Cup, and the reason for that is we were told that Lime Rock was only going to be 40 minutes and it ended up being a bloody sprint round. So it ended up being a 40-minute race. It was meant to be a 40-minute race, ended up being a sprint round. So I think it was meant to be a sprint round for this, and now it's gone back to being regular. I don't know what the bloody hell's going on a Wednesday night. We've been stitched up and it's thrown me right out of whack. But it's saying 40 minutes there. It's saying 40 minutes on the run sheet. We'll believe that for the moment until we turn up on Wednesday night, and it's been changed on us. So that is coming up Wednesday night from Suzuka. Good luck to all and sundry there. Cracking sprint racing from Lime Rock despite that little lack of communications breakdown. Regardless, it was a really good night of racing. We enjoyed it immensely. The Bend will then host the Supercars in a 2-sprint race format. That's from 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. That is Wednesday night motorsport for you. We've got the Porsches from Phillip Island, so that's where I'll be. And good luck to anyone that's picking up the freight here for me and Andrew Neil. Now, Thursday night, have a look at that. If that doesn't whet your appetite, go and check your pulse. Firstly, the third of as many sprint rounds in as many weeks for the Porsche Cup. That's from Imola in Italy, and that's a sprint race format, open first race and elite second race, 8:45 Eastern. And then the main course of Thursday night motorsport gets dished up nice and early for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's Disruptive Labs Formula V. It's from Willow Springs International, and that delivered some pulsating racing last time we visited last term. It'll do the same again. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Hope you can join us for that. Friday night, are we going for 8 from 8? Yes, absolutely we are. Snedden 300 for the GT1 Civil War. That's first up, 2 sprint races there. That's the last sprint round for that series, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Then on to the Milwaukee Mile, 135 laps, or 135 miles is the journey next Friday night, the second oval of the season, the first of 2 in the last 3 weeks of the campaign. We're looking forward to that immensely, 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. With thanks to all the boys and all the crew for their efforts this week. A reminder of the merch store, merch.tgsrci.com, gsrc.merch.myshopify.com. That's where you go to get your hands on some of the great merch range, the GSRC paraphernalia, the shirts, the jumpers, the singlets, the stubby coolers, the bottle openers, and also, of course, the bucket hats, and soon to be added to that will be bingo cards. I'm reliably informed they're on the way. An update to the GSRC Zach Bingo shirt. That's all coming to the GSRC merch store. I'm reliably informed. I'm not sure why. We're really taking the piss with that now, aren't we? The Zach Bingo. It started off as a running joke and it's about to turn into an enormous one. But we're looking forward to that immensely. You asked who do I thank? Is that not my goodbye? Well, that's fair. That is your goodbye, Jordan, but I would have thought that would have been, I would have thought that you'd, just reserve it for in the booth for having a chat with us. But I like that you are proving that men can actually multitask. To those that don't believe it, that's good. We're out of here. We're done. Race.tgsrci.com if you want any more information about this fantastic club now into its 26th season, ladies and gentlemen, and going gangbusters. If you want to get involved in the fun of the fair and find out the who, what, when, where, why, and how of this great club, race.tgsrci.com for all that relevant information. Find out how to sign up and get involved in the racing side of things, or, join us from a broadcast perspective, or sign on as a sponsor. Plenty of options. Race.tgsrci.com. Big weekend ahead. Broncos over the Raiders. Eels and Dolphins, of course, in Friday night NRL. That ended up going the way of the Dolphins, 34-16. The Lions absolutely smashed the Magpies at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Good night for the Queensland teams in the AFL and the NRL, and another obliterating night for Ethan Morris in the GSRC Disruptive Labs Road to Indy series. The dominant force continues his winning ways. Win number 6 of the season, only one blip in the road so far. That was in Portland, and I reckon that's when he went back to the drawing board and said, we won't be letting that happen anymore. And he's gone out and been utterly dominant in the last couple of weeks to turn around the fortunes there and continue to dominate this series. On behalf of our entire broadcast commentary and production team here, Andrew Dyson and Ethan Morris continue to lead the way in their respective Friday night servers. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage of Friday Night Motorsport. 7 from 7. We've been here for both the entree and the main course. We hope you're enjoying the extra racing offering that we've been able to bring you so far throughout the course of this term. We hope you'll join us for the last 3 weeks of the championship season as the drop rounds are now. Champions about to be crowned. On behalf of Joe Baldwin and our entire team here, I'm Zach Caven. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday. Until then, bye for now.